Hello, everybody, and welcome to Boston Blue Beat. We are back with yet another weekly here today. I am Toito, and I'm joined by the wonderful Deadward here.
That's right. Coming here another week, more BlazBlue, getting ready here for beach episode. Everybody's on the grind and showing up here. We're gonna have some good matches for you tonight.
Yeah. We got a pretty solid bracket coming up here today. Our first match that we have queued up is going to be Vexia Prime versus Sauvage. Sauvage. Keep getting the
Yes,
name
like
wrong.
Tarjay. It's the
Dude,
French.
you literally told me this. It's just one of those things that's gonna take a little bit of time to click, but I will get it one day, or if enough people bother me on Twitter, either or, to be honest. That being said, this matchup should be, assuming they pick their characters we've seen them with. Typically, this will be Jin versus Jubei. So this should be. I think this matchup is pretty interesting in the sense that Jubei is a typical kind of like hit and run type of character, right? Really fast movement speed, really good options for kind of mix-ups if he wants to get in, but obviously the crouching hit property and like some of his normals mean that he wants to like focus on not being there in the first place rather than like having to block. And then you have Jin on the other side of that can control space really well, especially with those freaking sea normals, I swear to God.
Fireball also at a very good height to kind of like interrupt Jubei's dash back, dash in. I don't know off the top of my head, is Jin a character who's usually happy to get that crouching hit, or is it more something he has to hit confirm?
Jin is happy to get a crouching hit. Basically it means that most of his like regular hits on like it basically means that he doesn't have to worry about like counter hit confirms in a lot of situations. Like
Excellent.
if he throws out a 5C and it connects, he can just go straight to like 6B rather than like having to bother to check. And then in other cases, like the increased corner carry he gets is really good. He can pretty much almost always go into like JD to like freeze, so he can go for ice resets mid-screen if he really feels like it. It's very, very beneficial. I'll put it that way.
Can break out that dirt, those ice resets.
Yeah.
So obnoxious to deal with.
Yeah. I would say they're definitely a pain to deal with, as a lot of people.
Makes me pretty anxious. I'm just in an ice prison and Jin's just right next to me.
Yeah. The messed up ones are when people start to strike throw you off a restand. Then I'm like, all right, man, come on. You didn't need to do all this. There's already 6A there, man. I'm like, come on. Why do you do this to me? Yeah, in all seriousness, it can be definitely can be difficult to deal with. But I'll definitely say, I would say the Sauvages typically is pretty good about, kind of trying to stay at range, and if, they're starting to engage, usually they're trying to use 2 and 4C. It's, the move where they pull out all the claws and all that jazz.
Yeah.
So I will say that is kind of, typical for them there. And I'm kind of curious to see how Vexia will kind of end up trying to cover space and handle those sorts of situations properly. I haven't gotten the chance to see them play too often, which means I'm a bad friend because I know them well. But I think it'll be pretty interesting. That being said, you have any thoughts on the matchup and stuff, or?
One thing that I always think is interesting about Jubei trying to control space against them is those drive moves, because it's kind of like the dive kick mix-up where it's like, okay, I'm going to come down with a button, or I'm going to dive kick, and if you anti-air my jump in, you're going to get dive kicked. And Jubei can just do that from like pretty much everywhere with that drive, but it is super punishable. So a lot about controlling space against Jubei, in my experience, has been knowing when to wait and take that big punish off of the drive.
Yeah, like the drive is useful as a way to delay air momentum typically, like the dive kick, like you mentioned. The problem with dive kick in this matchup is that while it's pretty good for, sort of delaying, your land recovery and things of that nature, Jin 2C is a very big normal. It's I always joke it like this, like Jin 2C is like his assigned anti-air, but like it's the running joke is that it's his worst anti-air because it's slow.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just get like got for it. But it happens to cover really good space in that sense. But I think we're transitioning into a different sorry. Yeah, no worries. So this will be Hakumen versus Ragnar instead then. Bit of a lore matchup depending on which game you're playing. But this should be very fun as well. I would say these two are pretty solidly matched up against each other in terms of player strength.
Yeah, here we go. Moving through the timeline at Hakumen now. And yeah, Play Guy making some big moves. Showing up at, oh my gosh, what was it? I'd say
Combo
like
Breaker.
Combo Breaker. Yeah, was
Yeah,
the
it was
big
Combo
one.
Oh, that one. Okay, okay, we have I think we just got a quick
an
look here.
issue.
All right, great. This is a super duper
Excellent.
excuse for me to just explain things. He had, he had a very close set against Monarch where he nearly had it, and then he kind of threw it on on a burst, I would say, and it was round 2, game 3. No, it was round. Let me remember. Yes, it was round 2, game 3. That one was rough. And the reason why I bring this up, not to be mean, because Play Guy is really good. He got 7th at Combo Breaker in a nearly 200-person bracket, so all the props to him, of course. As well as like pretty high placements, I'd say, at other like majors. But there are times in which, if he's kind of down on his chips, where he'll sometimes get pretty desperate. And so you'll start kind of seeing like wild DPs, which are relatively unusual for him because he's a pretty defensive player in general.
Yeah.
And then we have the completely other side of that coin, if not a different coin entirely, Ryukasim, who, by the player plate tag suggests Ryu Casino. He's a gambler through and through.
Oh yeah, a coin made of an entirely different metal, Ryukasim. Kind of embodying what I think of when I think of net play Hakumen. This guy,
that's me.
He can bring it. He can focus it together, but most of the time, until you show that you're ready for it, you're just gonna get sat on by the basic stuff. And Ryukasim loves those normal Hakumen things, that big damage.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I think in this case we might not see as much of it. Definitely some gambles here and there, because Hakumen is the RPS king, especially with his drive and normals. But with the experience that Play Guy has and having seen them around before, I think some of those layered, layer 0, layer 1 options might not come out as much in the beginning. Risky JD there gets punished, but not entirely completed there from Play Guy. He's just gonna back off here, and it's a Hakumen OD.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and that's exactly where Hakumen can get you doubting yourself. Try to anti-air him, counter, easy peasy. At the meter, so it wasn't that crazy, but that DP was pretty good there for Play Guy.
Yeah, good to show. Even against Hakumen, you want to show your reversal options here. Getting hit with TK Tsubaki afterwards is not as fantastic, especially when you're down a burst, but at the very least, Play Guy only really took about 3.8 from a Hakumen OD, which is not bad, because, dear lord, that man will kill you. RC probably, yep. Play Guy wants to stay in here in this situation. Gonna build up a bit of health with the drive usage there. Having 50 meter as well, that's gonna allow them to at least do a Gauntlet Hades relatively safely, but...
there it is right there! It out.
Yeah. And that's gonna be a big resource loss for Ryukasim. Even if Ryukasim wins this round, that's such a huge resource for Hakumen to not have available.
If there's one game where hero bursting is very not advised, it's Central Fiction. You go to 0 instead of 3, and now if Play Guy finds the right hits, Ryukasim could not get burst back. Like, you can just die without resources.
Yeah, the best way to put it is that gear bursting is the complete opposite from BlazBlue bursting. If you play BlazBlue, your bursting gear probably suck. If you play gear a lot, your bursts in BlazBlue are rough. Just due to how it works for both games here. Nice confirm here from Play Guy. I really like their positioning. They're just kind of placing themselves really solidly to intercept a lot of Ryukasim's approaches.
With little tech here, trying to keep Ryukasim in the corner, and Ryukasim just holding down.
Yeah, a couple of unfortunate air-to-air interactions in the favor of Ryukasim here. Gets the IAD, gets the stomp. Let's see what comes up next.
This is good active flow now. Ryukasim able to gamble on this overdrive soon. Last week, Ryukasim was really going to the bank with these 8-second overdrives at the end of your health bar.
Yeah, and that usually triggers her when the health bar is red, when you're just below that 30%, that's when that 8 seconds kicks in. Even now, probably about 7.5 seconds, which is more than enough. Even if it was just like counter hit and did cancel into OD, it's probably
it has to burst soon though. Play Guy can just hit that overdrive, lock it out. Oh, yeah, spends that burst.
Yeah, in this situation, definitely had to burst, otherwise Playguy would have killed. Playguy, perhaps a little, like a hair late with canceling an OD there, but still, he's in such a good position here. Arrow DP! Gonna work successfully. The EA's not gonna kill here, but 15 seconds left on the clock. Oh, okay, just goes for the 5C there.
I wanted that EA a little bit early. Doesn't matter in the end, though. Gonna get that dashing 5C.
Yeah, because Ragnar's like Oki after EA is nothing crazy, but I think he just wanted to perhaps finish it early. Either way, it kind of worked out and he was in a good position.
Kind of in those scrambles, you want to make sure that you don't drop anything.
Yes, for sure, right? You don't want to put yourself in an awkward position or anything like that. Sometimes you just got to do the tournament safe combos and do it like that. Like I managing to get. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Oh yeah, was navigating those pokes by Ryukasim very well, and now just like pushing the corner to the corner with like the vibes.
Yeah,
that's the Ragna aura.
For sure. I don't know about that burst from Playguy though. That hit wasn't going to be huge damage from Ryukasim. I get that he wants to keep the momentum in that situation, but I feel like Ragna OD is surprisingly underutilized in certain situations just because it's such a good comeback tool. And now you're in this position, regardless of getting momentum, where Hakumen has such a huge life lead over you. And that 6B is just going to end up taking the round there. And going into the next one, Playguy doesn't have OD immediately available.
Gonna be out on resources here, and yeah, just got cleaned up by those standing overheads.
Yeah, that 6B from Hakumen is so fast.
Yeah, dude, it's balanced in the sense that it doesn't give a confirm without meter or counter hit. So it's not like Ragna 6B there where you can just let it rock and get a ton of damage.
See, I agree with you for the most part. I just hate that it's footed wrong. So you can mash a 2A and it just whiffs. It's a special sort of normal. 6D Oak is going to end up working in favor of Playguy. Ryukasim is relatively known to just go for raw throw tech, so Ragna 6D is so good in this kind of player-to-player matchup. Because it's throw and vuln itself, you can run up with it and then kind of bait out like raw throw techs, and then get a good counter hit off of it.
Now Playguy game on the board, round on the board, and the perfect on the board.
That's a
Ryukasim with this resource advantage though with the overdrive.
However, it looks like it might even up by this next knockdown here. Overdrive available for both players here. Oh, I can only imagine that was an accidental button press there from Ryukasim. That is unfortunate.
You know, I don't think I should be surprised that Ryukasim has taunt bound, but that was surprising.
I'm genuinely surprised. I've never seen Ryukasim taunt, like, ever. And I've never, like, noticed it bind the button. This actually reminds me of a bit of a funny thing. Hold on here. We might see the end. Okay. Good throw tech. Oh, this might end up going in Ryukasim's favor. Oh, 2C?
God. Have to do it and gonna get caught there. That was 6K off of that Ryukasim overdrive. Kind of showing why he keeps it in the tank for so long.
Yeah, those were some weird interactions at the end there. I don't think Ryukasim intended to get 2C in that situation because on block it's pretty mediocre. Either way, though, ends up going in favor of Ryukasim, so now we got one more game to go through here. I will talk about the funny haha later, as we have a whole other game to go through.
Keep that for the transition. Oh my, just waited on that anti-air for so long. Wasn't even doing anything.
Yeah, look, we don't have SF6 rematch timer. We are going through this.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, rematching this game is not, like, very slow. Right now, really patient neutral from both players here. Ah, JA. That normal from Ragnar. Open up the hitbox video. That thing is huge. It is very silly. Good fatal starting here from
legacy.
No, seriously.
Positioning here. Playguy with a massive life lead.
Yeah, and Playguy likes to sit on meter before he goes for the Gauntlet Hades, so that even on block from the initial hit, he can still RC and then go for JC in order to keep up his pressure. That's a big burst there from Playguy, but that confirm would have been huge damage.
Yeah, you gotta burst the party starter. Hakumen's just gonna take your life away.
Here's the thing, though. Ryukasim's got OD. Anything he does is a party starter now. It's like my one
Magatama, oh my gosh!
Speaking of which,
there he is!
Oh my god, big drop, and that was not meant to be a 60. I'll tell you that right there. That was a misinput DP.
And the resources now extended there for Ryukasim and not even taking the round off of it.
Yeah. Relatively even now in this case, at least in terms of burst gauges. Whoever triggers active flow first is going to have a lot of momentum to work with. Good JD coming out from Ryukasim here, but not there on the confirm.
Oh. Speaking of foot invul, Ragna 2D has it.
Yeah,
and it's got the damage as well.
60. So yeah, 60. Don't worry. Dude, oh my god. That was funny. I was not expecting 60 to come out. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he was just gonna 2A throw and look for a TRM maybe, but look, Play Guy knows something more than me here.
It was so patient. And it's kind of reverted to that now. And Play Guy, yeah, just gonna find the anti-air, but so much of that round was just like Footsie's base, just doing a lot of walking in the anime game, very unusual, and then just boom.
Yeah, it's BlazBlue is an interesting game in the sense that movement is really, really good, and sometimes gets a little undersold, right? Like we think of games like Street Fighter, obviously, right, in terms of like footsies, this, and that. Like, oh my god, the whiff punish here. But being able to kind of understand when to dash in, when to walk, when to IED is really important in games like BlazBlue in order to kind of set up a lot of powerful whiff punishes. Ragna 5B, of course, you know, being like the Jesus kick, right? It's the poke of all pokes, like, which is really good, as well as 5C, which is a fantastic counter poke. And Play Guy's defensive play lends itself very well to those two normals in particular, due to the way how he'll kind of opt to whiff punish in a lot of situations, or he'll kind of bait something out and sort of dash in and start taking up a little bit of space. So things of that nature are pretty important in general. I believe, I don't know why his name is the General, I'm assuming it's the General So's Chicken. I'm 99% sure this is Spooky versus Lucy here. Yeah, this is definitely Spooky. There's nobody else playing Aracune in this bracket. I know better. This guy always has the weird names, I swear to God. Anywho, this is our New England local Spooky. He has goofy names, but he's really good at BlazBlue, so, you know, he gets a pass in that sense, I suppose.
Aracune as well, one of the weirder characters in BlazBlue.
Yes.
One of the more hated characters in BlazBlue as well.
Also, yes. This character can be very frustrating to kind of deal with, and I would say Spooky is probably one of the best out there. Lucy, and he's been playing for like a long time. I forget, he's played since Chrono Phantasma, I think it was, but he's been playing for years. Chrono Phantasma was years ago. I feel old saying that, even though not really that old. Lucy is a relatively newer player. I'm curious to see what her experience is going to be like against Aracune, and going for the Azuna drop there is really good.
Yeah, she's fishing for that.
Yeah, this matchup, oh, now I remember. This matchup is hell for Aracune. We might not get to see it because, you know, curse is always curse. Should be a pretty solid confirm here in this case. I wonder if he's going to be able to go for a recurse. Guard Crush Oki connects.
Alright, still locked out.
That's... Beam Super always kills when I think it's not going to kill. That thing is stupid.
I did not think that was going to kill either. Yeah, so...
Dude, how do you think I feel when I play against this guy in bracket? I'm like, oh, I'm living this. And then, like, the next 20 hits happen, and you're like, oh.
I think the legacy of that super for me will still always be people's inability to punish it. Everyone always walks into it.
Yeah, it's a weird super to punish. That's a good video idea. Thank you for that. Arakune's, the reversal super is very weird to punish. This should be death, unless Spooky drops.
Second life here.
And it's immediately ripped away. But, yeah, every character has a slightly different punish on it, but you typically block it initially, and then you can go in with, like, another normal. So, for example, Bullet can, like, block it, and then she, like, 5Cs. I forget what other characters do. I imagine Hibiki, like, he does, like, a 3C or something, but I forget exactly. It's one of those weird knowledge checks where you kind of just have to lab it briefly to get the idea for it.
Yeah. It's active longer than you expect.
Yes. That being said, though, it's bracket already. There's no time to lab. This is one of those situations where you just gotta
go.
Oh, this is curse.
That's the struggle with Aracune is he gets the curse in one, the mix-up does 4K, and then the second mix-up will kill you.
More or less, yeah. The other thing too is that Hibiki uniquely has really fantastic air-to-airs that help him navigate the matchup really well. That air throw is very bold.
Excellent there.
Alright, should be able to end in pretty solid Oki here. Okay. Goes for the late air dash mix. Nice. Ooh, not quite there on the confirm. Probably missed the 2C input before going for that. 2D6 beat. Okay. This should be able to kill with the right punish. RC it. Okay. You can OD if you really want to kill.
Yeah, we're just... That was... Lucy is definitely a little flustered against Arakune, because she usually has the confirms down pat, and that was just like... a little freestyle, rapid to save it, and then just take it home.
Yeah.
Thank goodness it killed.
You definitely want to be able to, yeah, I think that's still a player skill in and of itself, right? Like, being able to improv in situations, being like, okay, I think I can do this, this, and this, like, off of the situation. It makes you feel like a scientist in a horror movie sometimes, where they're like, I got a weird reading here, and then you kind of just finagle it, so to speak. This is a weird combo in and of itself, speaking of which. Doesn't land in Oki, but the empty low from the IAD is going to work out super well for Spooky. He's going to be able to kill it. This is super weird.
Give it a second chance. Counter assault.
CA's super good option against Arakune Curse, because it'll cause the knockdown and then he's kind of far away from you and you can run down a little bit of the curse time in there. One thing I'm kind of curious about, I'm not sure if Lucy's like super aware of it, but the BBJBB puts in work in this matchup. You wouldn't realize it at first, but that normal carries him super well in terms of air-to-air interactions for Arakune. Well, normally most characters are like, this dude clicks JBB, like this dude clicks JB that spike move, and I have no idea what's going on. Right now, though, a lot of kind of scraps and interactions in neutral, but no solid hit from either player here.
Oh,
Here's the JB.
Lucy listening to the stream, gonna cash out here. He's gonna be close. Is gonna go for super in the overdrive, get that nice minimum damage.
Not gonna kill, but the knockdown's still pretty good here. Could go for a JC. No! Catches the delay tech with the 2BB.
So what Hibiki's like to go for there is that you can get the cross under, the same one you can get off of 214C. Right. So you get under them and you're like, alright, am I going left, right, or am I staying on the same side with the 2B? And Lucy able to just catch the no-tech there. Spooky's sitting on it.
Pretty good job from her as well to kind of maintain, you know, a calm mind, because it can be very, like, dealing with Arakune in some situations can be very frustrating. There's a couple of characters like that in BlazBlue, I think, where, like, some members of the community are just kind of like, look, dude, this character's this character, and then, like, I'm just like, I don't know if nihilism is the best way to put it, but they kind of just accepted it for what it is. When you're a bit newer or when you're in bracket, those frustrations can, like, you know, kind of renew themselves, right? I think Lucy's been doing a pretty good job of not, like, getting phased super hard.
Yes, definitely Arakune is a part of Central Fiction, and I'm fine with that unless I'm playing against Arakune, and it's a problem. And Lucy is weathering the storm here, is going to get perfected. Never mind.
Not quite. DP doesn't come out.
I got
okay. All good. The 7 golden letters
I was so sure. Oh, this time it's gonna kill.
Yeah. All good.
And Lucy, I'm kind of impressed with the progress she's been getting in this matchup, because I feel like when I feel good against Arakune is when they're bursting against me, and I don't think Spooky has dropped a single burst. It's all just been overdrive or just been holding it.
Yeah. One thing that Spooky likes to do especially hard, just like as a player, is that he'll usually save up on like overdrive, and then what in the God's name?
Don't you dare cross up my OS!
I suppose this works. Yeah,
staying
I guess
in whiff? Yes, but Hibiki can move off of it. Oh my gosh! Lucy,
there's a lot happening.
No burst, doesn't matter.
Okay, let's see what we got next knockdown.
4B easy. Oh, crush trigger into the purple? You're crazy, Lucy.
Yeah, not enough time charging that crush trigger. If it's charged up a bit more, the throw is untechable after CT, but on a situation like that, you have to go for like a 5A. I think you should connect after CT like that.
Yeah, you gotta block one more time against Arakune with 100 bar and overdrive.
And Moth. Oh, God.
Alrighty.
This super Spooky loves Moth Super. I don't know why. We've always in New England we've wondered this for ages, but he always.
And Lucy lives. Overdrive,
What?
8-second here.
First time he was still up as well as the Moth.
We got a
DP does not work out.
The latest lap on Lucy is moving. You're dead.
That was a crazy sequence there, because she up-backed the empty IED into low, but then ended up getting clipped afterwards there. It was surprisingly tight set for a couple of those moments there, especially after that first game. Fun showing from both players.
That's what I appreciate that about Hibiki is it's like I may not know every matchup, but at least I have my run speed and I can just kill the other player. And it seemed like Lucy was able to pull that off quite a bit. As well as just like controlling the air with Izuna and eventually using that JBB as well.
Yeah, I would say Hibiki's just standard movement is very, very good. So even in matchups where you might not necessarily be sure on what to do, his natural movement is super good, and he's got, you know, a couple of good normals to kind of pair up with it, especially, you know, like JC and JBB being great air-to-air tools. JC, of course, covers like everything on like a lot of knockdowns, and a couple of other things as well. Like the Izuna drop is so good for like certain air-to-air callouts, like as well as it being a good starter. And you get the RC from that damage. I need to play that character again. It's been a while.
It's so good. Yeah, there's a lot of characters in BlazBlue that just like fly into the air off screen and just do a bunch of bullshit, and just having access to super jump Izuna means that you can threaten players where they're usually not used to being contested.
Yeah. Like typically you think of like, I think the typical like air-to-air that people think of is like SJBB or whatever, right? Like super big, obnoxious button, does technically have very big hurt boxes as well, right? But characters like Hibiki kind of get to dance around a bit more and flex options like a Izuna drop, you know? So it's very, very potent in general there. Moving on to our next set, however, we've got XtremeSonic. So I believe this, okay, so this will be Fuzzama versus XtremeSonic. If I recall correctly, Sonic does play 9 the Phantom.
That's correct.
Okay,
You
excellent.
passed.
Oh yes, I am glad. My reward is commentating. But yeah, so this will be Fuzzama versus a 9. I feel like Fuzzama runs into 9 so often in brackets. Like, it's very funny. There was a period of time where it was like Remains, and who was it? It was Remains, and I think maybe Julio Crivera were entering a bunch of the weeklies, and Fuzzama would have to fight either one or both of them, like all the time. Like this was like 4 weeks in a row or something like that. So it's safe to say that this guy has played up against 9 quite a bit.
Yes.
In terms of Sonic, I'm less familiar with them as a player and kind of, you know, who they've gone head-to-head with as often. But I've seen them pop in for a lot of Boston Blue beats, and they typically make it a pretty solid distance here. So excited to see what both players have to offer here.
Yeah, has definitely had experience with net play Fuzzama, so I'd say Garanex probably being the biggest one. And then also a bit with Quetzalcoatl as well. I've seen, I don't know which locals Sonic is a part of, I've seen them mainly rocking up on net play.
Yeah, I am not sure what region Sonic hails from either. I know Fuzzama is around the Midwest area, as they had managed to pop in for Frosty Faustins earlier this year. Way earlier this year, actually, now that I think about it. Damn. But yeah, either way, Fuzzama, probably the best American Fuzzama player out right now. One of the new blood. This dude is super young, super skilled. His confirms are like nutty. If you want to talk about improvising something insane, this dude Fuzzama usually has something going on. All around, pretty solid dude, I would say.
Yeah, Fuzzama, a player that is always seeming to juice as much damage as you can off of every single hit. Man's making lemonade, orange juice, everything.
You want to talk about lemons? This dude will invent some new type of juice. I swear to God. It's like, that's how it is.
I'm buying the Fuzzama cocktail book. Let's see it. The
Dude,
Mix
so
Master.
true. I don't think he's old enough to drink yet, actually. He's young. He's a young one. But either way, we're going into it here right now.
Whoa! The tallest The tallest snake, the anaconda.
Alright. Fuzz is going to end up getting the first successful hit here of this match right now. Baits out the DP. That's relatively safe. It's not super minus because it's conditional. So that 5C punish is going to end up trading. Probably had to go for a 5B instead, but that's still a great counter at starter. 5A ends up connecting on the up back from Sonic here.
It's excellent mobility here from Fuzz.
Goes for the B chain. Out of chains now. Sonic manages to get their first hit here. This should lead to pretty solid OP here. Let's see what kind of offense they want to run here. Setting up the fairy OP. Walk up 4C. Nice.
Ooh. Ready for that rock there. Sonic still has this great positioning. Meter and overdrive.
Should be able to reset off of this hit. Ends up leaving it off of the 2B. OD into Tension is going to seal the deal. Damn.
That was, oh man. And similarly to Ryuka-Sim, even though I'd say that these players both have very different ideologies when it comes to playing BlazBlue, Fuzz also loves the 8-second overdrive. And I could like feel it coming where I'm like, Sonic, no, not the fist!
Fuzz like cranks OD out like it's nobody's business. He does a very good job of like threatening with it. Fuzzama's one of those characters where like a lot of his power ends up coming from his overdrive. And Fuzz uses it really well in order to confirm kills, increase damage, or overall, he ends up using it pretty well defensively to pair it up with, you know, like the Snake Kick, the Tenji, in order to use it as a reversal, just due to how far it goes and how fast it is. 4 frames, goes super far as well. You don't see it come out as often because it's costly resource-wise. You went for the chain on
through the coils.
Okay. Bro gets teched here. And Sonic's having a hard time pinning down Fuzzama right now. Fuzz feels like can move around relatively freely for most of these matches. Right now, at least contained, gonna block those rocks. Having a pretty solid time doing so, but it's gonna be the escape attempt that gets caught out here.
Yeah, Sonic with the reset now, able to keep Fuzz in the corner just consistently now. Oh, go
try to cross up with the fairy.
Second.
Oh god, air throw whiffs.
Yeah.
Okay. The chain ended up connecting, which let Fuzzama confirm it in the kill there, but I won't lie. Had Sonic been able to wait out that entire timer, probably would have been sitting very pretty. I think perhaps as Sonic, they maybe wanted to just kind of like pop the fairy and sit there, because realistically, even if Fuzz went for like OD into like super, on block it's still super minus, and you can let the fairy kind of take care of the Oki for you, and you like kind of wait out what your opponent does there. Either way,
with
though, I
Cosmo
think
and Wanda, you don't really have to contest the Ho-Tenjin in that situation.
I'm gonna start using that. I've actually never heard that before.
I might have taken it from Coustix, to be honest, but I'll have to check.
Look,
I'll watch it back.
Every commentator robs just a little bit.
Yeah.
Little bit.
The greatest form of flattery is theft.
Truly. Oh, that was supposed to be a counter assault, but then it became cross trigger because he wasn't in block stun. Because the input for counter assault is 6AB, the input for cross trigger is still 5AB.
Oh my god!
So sometimes CT will come out.
Sonic, don't leave them alive!
Oh, this could be a robbery.
This is a disaster.
Not yet. If the next hit connects, then it's a disaster.
Freak me out.
It's a disaster. Okay, no sense of getting popped from Sonic.
Look, and this is like, you spend the resource, you have to win the round. Excellent there. God hand finding it.
Yeah, if I'm Fuzz, I'm still happy about that round because I still got the burst out of like Sonic's hands, right? 9 overdrive isn't super potent compared to like, you know, Fuzzama's, but taking away the ability to burst as well as OD as just a system defensive option is super good. Nice air throw.
Excellent. Take this Hungry Coils to the corner.
A little off maybe on the Oki there. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Sonic just able to get out.
Yeah. Alright, gonna confirm 6A into Snake Kick here. Probably kills with OD if he decides to opt for it with the EA, but no. Okay, we're gonna take the next knockdown and see what we get off of it. Gonna check for delay tech most likely, yeah, with the 214B.
I think with this life lead, you're usually fine keeping the resource. Be a little greedy. Keep that overdrive for the next round.
Oh, for sure. That was a micro dash 2A. Okay, that was funny. Crimson Raider, that like move where she dashes on block can be really frustrating to deal with because it's pretty minus, but she pushes herself out. So I just want to call out the like little micro dash Fuzz did there was really good to get in range and still kind of challenge afterwards there. You confirm that.
Whoa!
See what I mean? Like, this dude just, like, confirms like it's nothing. Absolutely cracked out of his mind. Alright,
with the overhead here. Yeah, check the burst is gonna spend it here from Sonic.
Alright, a lot of dashes here from Sonic, but it looks like they're feeling a bit uncomfortable like earlier in the round. They found some success, you know, in the first round and as well as late in game 1, so let's see what they can get started here. Not going to be able to finish up their confirm here. Overdrive available. This is probably death, I'm not going to lie.
Yes, and that, oh, is gonna... Alright, I shouldn't doubt Fuzz. Yeah, you got it.
Oh,
never, I should doubt Fuzz.
Should have doubted.
Your heroes, they just let you down. Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, finding the rock here. A lot of bar here for Sonic.
Wow, both back avoids the rock entirely. That was a weird RC. Okay, can't put the clock on Fuzzama, but opposite connecting to rock after that normal connects.
That's the bar to spend.
Really
Can
awkward.
you finish with this? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the angle and the height was just a bit awkward there. Fuzz not going to be able to completely connect here. Alright, last touch will kill. OD gets popped. Alright, timer is stopped as well, but the JB into 6C.
Excellent poke there from Sonic.
What a good fadeaway normal. One thing about 9 that's so... Her B normals are so good, dude. They're so good. They have the highest range of all of her normals, so they're so good at stuffing. And because 9's, you know, normals are just regular body and head property and all that, Fuzz can't use, like, chain follow-ups to kind of evade it invuln through it. So that was really sick of Sonic to place the JB there. That was really, really cool.
That might be the adaptation. I feel like Sonic's biggest issue has been this neutral mobility and kind of keeping Fuzz locked down. And, you know, Sonic definitely willing to play that game, dashing everywhere, both characters just flying around like they're Dragon Ball characters.
I would agree for sure. Because 9 can cover space really well, but she has very binary movement, I guess is probably the best way to put it. She doesn't have a lot of things that she's necessarily going to do. It's pretty slow and reactable, like when she starts to move. Meanwhile, Fuzzama is a whole lot of stop, starting and going, and feints, right? So for Sonic, I feel like it's kind of their objective to throw out and wall out Fuzzama to start to close down those options and use the move. Okay, that was a big choice there, but it works out.
Taking the rock out of the pocket here.
Mono Wind ends up connecting here. Gonna RC, sets up the Morganite, but really good reactionary fuzzy jump from Fuzz.
Yeah.
That setup wasn't quite like locked in there, and Fuzz just kind of knowingly jumps out of there. Doesn't want to eat a high-low. Really good confirm here. This is pretty fancy stuff.
Excellent. Yeah, save jump there.
Triggers an active flow. 50 meter to go. This is probably a dead 9.
Has the 50 bar to spend. Yes. I've seen it many times before. Hungry coils into the super to finish off XtremeSonic. This round, we've got more to go.
Yeah. Fuzz is up around, but we've seen it from the past couple of games that Sonic definitely has a lot more to show off here. Let's see if we can get a last round situation, or if Fuzz closes it out quickly.
Yeah, Fuzz with a lot of momentum here. Staying same side on that setup. Cross over, cross back.
A lot of movement going on here. This confirm isn't going to be super big. Sonic pops that burst there. Probably doesn't want to eat the, well, overdrive that comes out now. And Fuzz looks like he's going to seal it away and meet up Spooky further along this bracket for their next game.
Yeah. XtremeSonic kind of going out swinging there. Fuzzama just got away with murder with that mobility. Cross over, cross back, would just like chain around doing nothing, all the while Sonic is just kind of doing their best to down back and block anything like that, so... Unfortunate way to go out, especially when we were seeing the fadeaways do so much, and Sonic probably feeling pretty good with how far they were able to take Fuzzama, but top player for a reason, Fuzzama gonna take it.
Yeah, I think that was one that was interesting to me, because I think Sonic maybe was flustered a lot, because I think you're pretty spot on, like the neutral and mobility were definitely a problem for them. I think Sonic didn't necessarily have a good game plan to kind of rely on when Fuzz was lower on chains. So there were a couple of situations where Fuzz had no chains, and then there was just no aggression from Sonic, right? And in those situations, Fuzzama's mobility without chains, of course, is really lackluster. So even if it's storing up a spell or going for something else, then I think 9 can definitely take advantage of those kind of lapses in momentum for Fuzzama.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, really, Fuzz is forced to like throw out like anti-air chains, and 9 can just super jump barrier and then fall in with like maybe a J2C or something, or teleport if they are really feeling it, right? So it's some situations like that in which you really want to be able to kind of push when it's kind of your turn, so to speak. And then in other situations, right, like we saw the same side mix, and a couple other things come up where like Fuzzama's air dashes are pretty lackluster. Seriously, go into the lab and click ID on him and you will be like, how do people walk on this character? But when you're flustered and your opponent's been moving and showing all these options, you start getting hit by pretty much almost anything and everything, right? So
yeah. And I'd say that 9's committal movement is usually better on the defensive just because you're, fading away, you're invincible. They don't know if you're going to double dash, if you're going to single dash, and then press a button. So a lot of the guessing that I feel like I'm doing against 9's movement is while I'm trying to get her, while I'm trying to, like, hit her. And so being able to, like, turn it up and, like, go in on a character with kind of limited mobility can be very difficult. Like, yes, the super jump is excellent for 9, but usually I feel like that's because people are going to try and, like, swat you out, and then you can just keep going, keep it moving, stay invincible.
I'd say there's definitely a couple of things like that to kind of talk about. 9 is a pretty interesting character, silly as she can be sometimes. We got to talk about other matchups if you want to focus on mobility. This is 9 versus Rachel. This requires really good movement. I would say Playguy has, if I remember correctly, Playguy's navigated around this matchup a few times, so they definitely have some experience. But either way, Rachel, this character is tough, and Bloodbro is pretty good on this character as well. Having a great tool and a great user makes for a terrifying combination.
Oh, yeah. And Rachel is... Oh, excellent follow on the wind there.
Already
Rachel
in the corner.
Stay cornered for long.
Oh, goodness. And there's those 6Ds. Again, they're so good for when an opponent is nervous or mashing. So you get to catch people out really well on it. And even on block or on whiff, JD still leads to really good RPS for Ragnar. So it can be tough to deal with if your opponent... it can be tough to deal with if you're on the defensive against Ragnar and you're not as comfortable like IVB.
Gonna get massively counter hit for setting George.
This probably could have killed if Playguy opted to spend the OD, but they're gonna keep it pretty simple here. One more hit should be able to do it for him, but it's Rachel and this character can definitely rob you.
Yeah, I mean, probably feeling confident with this level of life lead that you can keep the OD, but now stuck in the corner.
Oh my goodness.
Faded!
Yeah, and now you still gotta deal with George. This is gonna be rough. Gets thrown out for their trouble there. No win follow-up, so unable to finish the combo, but Bloodbro's in such a good position. What a huge changing of events here. From being so low on health to keeping it even and at advantage, just zoning out Playguy here.
Very scary situation, yo. Rocking up with the chair at the first.
There's no way you did chair, then you get bursted, then you try to roll. Oh no, oh no, oh no. I would have chaired again just to be a jerk. Either way though, Bloodbro at least managing to get the burst out of Playguy at the end right there, which I would say is a very big like win for how crazy like disadvantaged they were. Like only like 10 seconds into the
It is interesting the narrative of that resource swap there where Playguy wanted to keep the overdrive just a little bit longer. Blood4life was like pretty low on OD and now completely swapped here. Playguy stuck in the second round, no burst, no overdrive, and likely gonna die like that.
Oh goodness, a couple of good hits here, gonna catch Playguy on the landing right there, but a couple of drops is giving Playguy a lot of chances. They managed to clean it up with the instant overheads, but still, that was a bit closer than needed from Bloodbro there. Alright, Ellie is set, we're just zoning it out. It's Rachel Alukari, it's time to walk.
You gotta be on deck with your mobility if you want to contest Rachel.
Yeah. And if I'm Play Guy, I think there's something to note. I'll talk about it after this game right here. Burst is going to come out from him right now. Still plenty of BlazBlue left to go. Probably going to RC afterwards to stay in. No! Okay. On hit, just off to
Great
stay
little
in there.
stagger pressure there from Play Guy.
Alright, Gauntlet Hades RC comes out. We see that a lot from Play Guy. Gauntlet Hades, he doesn't really do it much without meter, so something to note there. There's the special cancel that's going to stagger and counter hit in that situation. So one thing what I wanted to note there, sorry, I'm like rapid firing here real quick, but
Get that color.
Bloodbro is nearly excessively using Wind to exclusively back off. So in a situation like that, as most characters, really the objective is to push Rachel to the corner and then slowly let her deprive herself of resources. Because managed better, Rachel Wind never really runs out. But when they're being used quite as much as this, especially when they're cornering themselves, you can really wait it out in situations like that. As long as you're kind of patient with your approaches, you can get things started here. But Play Guy, a bit unusual in these situations where it feels like they're trying to start things early, and that's why they're getting hit by the bats and the lightning rods and so on, and like neutral.
Gonna find a great little IAD here. Play Guy also got an excellent DP this round.
Yeah, weaves in quite nicely. Good throw tech here.
Again, a jump in button gonna work out here for Play Guy, getting over those projectiles.
Good God, 60. Alright, should be able to kill off this, just has a super. Ends Bloodbro's life right there quite smoothly. And yeah, I think Play Guy's doing a good job of still layering in throws, so that helps reinforce 6D as a good option here. Because your opponent's still thinking about throw as an option, and then you 6D them again. There it is there.
Excellent stagger here. Yeah, Play Guy kind of showing all of the Ragna pressure here, stressing you out, making you press chair in the wrong situation.
Yeah, really good bait there from Play Guy. Not a lot of damage right there before the burst, and suddenly the tide is looking very turned here. This should be George Oki set. Let's see what Play Guy opts for. No GP, just sits there and blocks, but gets caught by the low.
Yeah. Rachel in the corner, if she can get the bat set up, you're just taking so much damage from every interaction. Doesn't matter how it's going, it's just miserable.
What a guess for sure. Oh, I think I could have gone for a Carnage Scissors there in reaction to this super, but maybe didn't trust the landing recovery after the IAD. The backdash win is going to get caught by the 5B. That's a very good option from Ragna. RC in the super. Gets it done.
Carnage Scissors one more time.
Yeah. And I want to say that 5B is a really good option by Ragna. Look, it doesn't matter what character you are. That 5B catches so many backdashes, dude. It is super cranked for that. So Play Guy kind of dashing in a little bit deeper to ensure that the 5B connects even on backdash wind is super smart from them. Just to kind of highlight that real quick.
Play Guy definitely doing very well in just like holding forward against Rachel, staying closer even as she's flying away, and her projectiles become a lot more manageable if you're not stuck in George, if you're not staying in one place. So much of this matchup is like keeping light on your toes and staying in.
Yeah. But in a situation like this, Bloodbro ends up cornering himself very quickly into the match. They get out with the chair, but from Rachel, like as Rachel, you still need to use Wind to kind of like aggress and move forward. Options like Wind 3C are super, super good for catching your opponent off guard with like a very fast advancing low. Right now, though, Play Guy's doing really good at adjusting their movement in order to kind of catch out Bloodbro or immediately chasing on backdash wins. Bloodbro, however, it feels like is able to change momentum just like this throw here from Play Guy. We're going to talk about things in their favor, but this situation is very much so not.
Yeah, check the bar. Gauntlet again.
Ooh, I think they whiffed the air normal there because I saw Ragna kind of jerk a little bit in the air and then goes down low with the 2B.
Mixing it up here, Play Guy.
Yeah, aggro meter usage right there, but ends up working out for them.
Yeah, and definitely the scariest thing I find against Rachel players is when they decide to hold their ground. Like, most of the matchup is just chasing them down. So once they decide to, like, you know, once you're just running in, like, oh, gotta go to the next corner because that's where she's flying next, and then you fall down, she's got a button, she's got projectiles waiting for you.
Dude, this character 6B is such a godlike poke, and then this character 6A is like, I'm not lying to you, it's one of the best anti-airs in the game, straight up. For a lot of nerdy properties. Oh, there's the 6B. That was probably meant to be counter assault though, which is why they kind of didn't really react to the counter assault.
If you like the stats for nerds page of JustATomato, Rachel's for you.
Dude, I have dealt with this character a bunch. You gotta lab this character out.
All right, counter assault spent and very low on win tier. Wants to finish this round. I don't know if
he really should. Yeah, I like the option to go for Tempest Dahlia there. Bloodbro wants to kind of just keep Play Guy away and guarantee that they build up some of the win gauge in that situation.
Rebel 3, action.
All right, here we go. Last game, last round.
J2C ends up connecting. We have not seen that normal all day. Okay. Georgia set out, and I want to talk about that movement pattern just a bit. Win 3C does come out, but not quite there in connecting, and Play Guy ends up managing to get a counter hit as a result. 6B is blocked.
Blocked on the overhead. Chair right through it, bursted. Play Guy wants to keep the momentum. Counter assault, get off of me. Lots of win tier to spend for Bloodbro.
Oh my god, what a low to the ground air throw. You're trying to look like a gear player, huh?
five win stocks, let him fly.
Dude,
get me out of here.
It's a no-fly zone, man.
No!
Alright, burst is going to be available. This combo won't kill them. Oh, I'm not sure about that burst.
Yeah, still one-hit situation regardless.
Yeah, and on top of that, that confirmed wasn't going to kill. Like, you're still stuck in the same situation, and now you're down a resource.
Oh,
Air
chasing it
tapped.
down. Yeah, more air throws than Guilty Gear right now.
I swear. Play Guy loves to go for them, and I would say, based on how Bloodbro's positioning, I don't blame him. Oh, it doesn't fall down and go for the Card Scissors again. Okay.
Oh, just... Alright, a sliver here.
George,
you're falling into George. The lightning. Oh, yes.
And that's the thing, right? I really like that from Bloodbro, because Play Guy is trying to go a little too fast in a lot of these situations to kind of go for these DPs and such, and it is nothing. It is nothing for Rachel to just IAD away and then throw a Lobelia or pop Lightning Rod in order to cover a dash out from there. That's a situation where you really can't CA until you see the Rachel commit to an option. And that can be very annoying to hear when you're dealing with a character that just 50-50s you really fast. But yeah, just want to kind of emphasize that. It's just one of those situations where you got to be very mindful of those kind of areas. And I think that maybe in some situations, the Carnage Scissors would have been kind of the option to go for there in order to cover some of those Tempest Dahlias, those supers from Bloodbro. But I got to give it up to them as well. I feel like I'm not giving maybe Bloodbro enough props. They played very well for how crazy that set ended up being.
And on the defense most of the time, like, not a ton of instant overheads, not a lot of, like, Rachel running her pressure. A lot of it was just, like, those zoner fundamentals, like controlling the space, kind of pissing them off by retreating, and then just George connecting, and then you win the game. Bloodbro was able to kind of weather the rushdown and deal with the Ragna, and is gonna continue on into bracket because of that onto, I believe, winners finals. So putting that first seed to work. Good job, Bloodbro.
So we are going into our next match here. This is going to be our next winner semis match. This is going to be Spooky versus Fuzzama, or aka somebody by me, SF6, aka the General So's Chicken. I'm assuming it's the General So's Chicken. I don't know why.
Arakune, if you've got opinions about Arakune, please hit up the Matcherino.
Hit up the Matcherino, donate, pop in a message if you want to. I forget if that's even a feature.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want to do there, but either way, let us know how you feel about Arakune, and please support the Matcherino.
Yeah. Yeah. We're doing a little postmodern call to action.
This feels more like a capitalist call to action.
Ooh,
give us money
like
so that we can do things.
Yes. Give us your opinion, but more importantly, give us money. Give these players money.
Yes, that's what I was gonna get to. The Matcherino always helps out the players, gives them a little bit of extra cash. Hey, if you want to help Spooky potentially get SF6, pop in a little bit from the Matcherino.
it'll take a few BlazBlue weeklies, but Spooky will get there.
Sometimes people show in with big bucks. Sometimes DGF just appears, drops $100, and just goes about their day. You never know. But
the Terumi chaoticness just dropping out.
Dude, I swear. Chains are gonna connect you in this situation. Goes low afterwards. Alright, pretty solid area here. I like that JD coming in from Fuzzama. Confirms him a super in order to get the kill here. Yeah, Spooky's not going to pop burst in this situation. In fact, there's a
very
drop.
dangerous. Not good to leave Arakune alive. This character just needs 1 or 2 hits. Here we go.
Well, that's definitely hit 1.
Oh my gosh.
Need the second one out of Curse in order to even up the health here. Pops Overdrive wants to extend the curse timer here, and that's a lot of OD timer plus active flow.
And locked out a burst right now. This is when you're looking at that bar like, man, I should have cashed out. I should have taken this route. Look at where I am right now. Probably going to see Fuzz drop in their own 8 seconds. Yep,
oh, speaking of which,
let's go.
As if on cue, huh? Kind of dialed it up. You reading the script or something?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Science Cat for the script.
Seriously, shout outs to RTOs and such here at BostonBlueBeat. Appreciate them a ton. I do love each and every one of the crew here. Chains are going to connect here from Fuzzama in this situation. Doesn't get the micro dash 5B, an unusual drop here, but the anti-air 2C will connect. And here with the side swaps, this is going to need to
get the good damage and the good OP. Why not both? Hello, Fuzzama.
Be greedy. Fuzz probably looking for a burst there, didn't, or just drop the combo, not too sure. Either way, should be able to kill off of this. Yeah, keeps it simple right there with the 5C. And Fuzz is up 1 game against Spooky.
I mean, Arakune games are always going to be very snowbally, and Fuzz doing well to like have the single player game on deck. Like, just keep your opponent guessing on defense, and just hope that your mix-ups work out well enough that you don't have to deal with Arakune neutral anymore. That's kind of like the CF vibe sometimes. It's like, God, I hope they just get hit by everything. Gotta believe. Okay, well, we're gonna get an early curse here.
Yeah. Now, burst management against Arakune is really weird because he kind of flips on your head. In a lot of cases, you know, we talked about it early on stream, you don't necessarily want to burst everything. But Arakune's win condition of curse is so potent that oftentimes... Oh, that was definitely not meant to be burst. I think that was an OD. Where oftentimes you want to burst really quickly so that he can't build up the curse stage. Which for some characters with like who rely, or players that rely on overdrive as a main part of the game plan, that can be very detrimental. And I wonder if that's part of the reason why Fuzz doesn't really pop burst, or hasn't popped burst all that much in this set.
It's like a play style decision.
Yeah.
Because I do know that like my burst against Arakune is like I have to get opened up twice before I get cursed, and that is pretty nice.
For sure,
I am fine to burst early, burst often versus Arakune. Keep a little bit of that Exard burst habit.
Oh, for sure. Wow, the 63D barely whiffs. Spooky drops the combo. OD comes out instead of what was likely supposed to be a burst here. This is going to mean curse and the OD gauge is completely gone for Fuzz here. Pretty awkward, unexpected situation, I would say, for Fuzz. Just a couple of resets in here. Guard Crush Bug gonna put in that work. However, Fuzz gets out, and honestly, not even too bad damage here, all things considered.
Showing off that Fuzzama strength is you just chain the anti-air attempt to get full damage off of it.
The reversal super that led to 80% curse. Gets clipped by the low here. EA comes out from Fuzz. That's going to swap sides and get a little bit of health back, but...
What's the active flow version as well, so did some good damage?
4K meterless reversal, folks. Let me tell you, system mechanics in this game are a little crazy. If Fuzz doesn't kill here, and he's not going to kill off of this, let's see, that's crazy reversal.
You spend the rapid for the reset?
It's going to be OD into backdash. That's the Spooky special. Yeah. So, okay. Quick thing. Arakune OD is like messed up. If he has any amount of curse gauge built up, he immediately goes into curse, right? So that means that you could OD, which is invuln. Then you go into your backdash. Then you can summon bugs during the backdash. Which lets them kind of pop a reversal and then start his turn. It's really good.
More with the burst meta, that's why you want Arakune bursting and not popping overdrive.
Yeah, and Spooky, I would say, out of all the Arakunes I've seen, pops OD likely the most.
See, again, the snipe on the anti-air there using the chain.
What a low profile with the 3C! That was so weird! I've never seen a low profile a follow-up from stance. That is odd. Every day you find something, a new weird situation or new interaction, I swear to God. This game truly does provide. Crowd Crush Bug with the side swap. Is this going to be a recurse? No, it's not going to. Oh, he's just
going for the kill here, super available.
That's so funny. That's so. Oh my God. That's cool. Partially because I'm not the one eating it. But man.
Yes. Many fighting game characters are cool from a distance.
Yes. Appreciate from afar.
Don't touch the glass.
Oh, another good. Fuzz, I swear to God, gets the most air throws and like anti-air 2Cs. A lot of people that are playing this character.
Nice little life advantage. I doubt we're going to see any overdrive or burst from Spooky here.
Yeah, likely just going to use their natural mobility to get out of the situation there. Gets clipped, but not a quick confirm yet. It's the next hit that ends up doesing it in. Should be able to kill with the active flow to help along. Yeah, those JCs will get her done. Now we are at set point for both players here.
And Fuzz with the bold anti-air 2A there. I was flabbergasted that worked.
Dude, this Fuzzama is just anti-air as the character. That's a good OD. That's going to help build up the curse gauge so fast. Timer on it's going to be a bit slow as well. It's a little bit of extra time to work with here. Let's see what he cooks up. That's going to be a low. Caught on the tech
roll
there.
catch. Oh, spin the burst.
At that point, anything else afterwards is going to kill. The dash into 5A.
And that was... Fuzz got like a chance to breathe there at the end, got a chance to play neutral one more time. That was all the overdrive. That's just the power of Arakune. That was absurd.
Yeah, and that was such a good choice there to go for the OD on the stance there. As Fuzzama Fuzzama's been going into stance and committing to follow-ups, like, very consistently. So, in a lot of those situations, there's not really... I mean, OD is just a very good option to call it out. And he hadn't used that up until then. So it's really good patience to kind of bring out that option when it means most in order to secure a kill in that situation there. So that will end up placing Spooky and Bloodbro in both seats for winners finals here today.
Oh, that's going to be Rachel versus Arakune, an excellent winners finals.
Should be lots of fun. We're moving on now to the loser side of the bracket to get this moving along here. We're going to have JustATomato, which means their opponent will be Ryuga-san.
I'm very excited for this one.
It's Kagura Mutsuki versus Hakumen. It should be a time. Tomato's a relatively newer player as well. They had a pretty good placing at Combo Breaker. I know that they made at least top 48. Someone in the chat could probably correct me if it was if they made it all the way up to top 24. But I know they had a pretty good showing. I remember catching their set against Wukash. I believe that was their set to get into around the top 48 area. Someone is saying that he placed 25th. Dang! Just a little short of it, but he's definitely been improving with some time. It's been nice to see him show up pretty consistently.
Yeah, Tomato has been on the ground. I don't know exactly how new Tomato is, but like, is putting up good results and like caught his restream of like last week's tournament and like has a very good mindset for like approaching matchups and whatnot. He was getting very mad at me because I was saying that Kagura struggles against Rachel, and he's like, "It's a good matchup. You got Wyvern."
So it's a weird matchup, but it's relatively favorable for Kagura. It's because there's Wyvern, but there's like a couple of other things kind of going on there. But we ain't got the time for that. We'll see how far Tomato ends up making it if they end up fighting against Bloodbro. But for the time being here, we have no bursts. Okay.
Tomato is already in the Hakumen stuff. Had the most obvious jump in, had BFAF charged and everything, and just didn't press the button because they assumed that the air counter was guaranteed, right? It's such an obvious jump in.
It's one of those weird situations where it's like, surely they won't do this, right?
Yeah.
Never know. Either way, first round ends up going in Tomato's favor here.
Yeah, a little bit of a resource deficit here, but it's gonna get closed up by the end of the round anyway, and you're a round up. You're chilling.
Yeah. I think that orb interaction is pretty interesting there from Kagura. So one big thing is that, as we saw just there, Hakumen is able to kind of invuln through a lot of projectile Oki in the game, because he can just pop his drive and special cancel for invuln afterwards. So in a lot of those situations, projectile Oki isn't really as good against Hakumen. So you kind of want to go for like other options there. A couple of clean neutral interactions here as I'm talking about Oki. And
yeah, Ryuga-sim cleaning that up, and again, the Hakumen effect. Air dash in, parry, catching the BFAF. And Ryuga-sim can just, take that all the way to the bank. Getting opened up low here.
I'm surprised the Wyvern ended up connecting here. I wonder if he was worried about, like, 2DA connecting before the orb or what, but just a little weird there in that situation. Or the orb, not Wyvern. I'm getting move names confused. Stance canceling the 60. Hey!
Excellent! Even the rapid, not enough for Tomato. Was that Tomato's rapid?
Yeah, that, I believe that was Tomato's rapid. Funny enough, the meter didn't get spent. I don't know if that's a weird hit stop thing. That's interesting. I forget off the top of my head.
Whoa!
Do not go for those 2 C's at range. That is indeed a mid. Hakumen can just 5D or 2D accordingly. He ain't got to think about it.
Alright, now yeah, Ryuga-sim does not want to engage until his overdrive comes back. Don't do anything. Okay, now we're playing.
Look at the meter gain. He just got like a bar of meter just for standing. Pops OD to speed up that meter gain, and now...
Easy.
I was not expecting 2360 to 240. I wasn't expecting Yanagi, that's the move name, to connect from that far, but just barely got the active hitbox there.
On the distance there, and great resource awareness there. If you're like if you're 1 hit away and you are at like 9 on your burst, it comes back over time. So just don't engage, don't go anywhere near them if you can, because it's going to be the difference between you getting hit and being able to burst immediately and you getting hit and dying.
And on top of that, right, like, Yanagi, that 214D where like Hakumen like dashes forward, it's like -7. You can use IB and then just punish it straight up. So like, it's one thing that's important to keep in mind. Man, this orb usage from Tomato is getting him smoked in a lot of interactions. Like Kagura typically wants to do that to kind of cover himself, right? Like as he moves forward there, right? But because Hakumen is typically spacing you out already using C normals, like he happens to cut. And these orbs are relatively slow, so Hakumen can also just react with like a 4C and just create a hitbox in front of Kagura. So I think Tomato has to get a bit more like comfortable with using orb far less and kind of going in a bit without as much coverage.
Kagura can't use any sort of protection in this matchup. Oh, and Tomato just gonna get eviscerated now.
Alright, this is not looking good here. 2B ends up connecting. Not enough on the resources to kill here. Ryuga-sim trying to look for...
burst.
Being a burster like attack. Oh my god, you really just went for JD there. You're crazy. Actually, it's Ryuga, I feel like that's implied. But dang, why you got a JD him like that? You had so much health. Could have given him an honorable death. Either way. Oh, sorry.
All the Zangatsus, the big party starter overhead connecting there in the end. One of those things, charge players are used to holding back, and reacting to those overheads is like a little bit different.
Yeah.
Ryuga-sim catching that.
So our next match coming up here is going to be XtremeSonic versus StardustLucy. We saw both of these guys in pretty close sets on the winner's side. Lucy having fought against Spooky, who is in the winner's finals, currently, as well as Sonic, who is up against Fuzzama, who fell to Spooky in winner's semis. So I would say this is pretty interesting to me. Both players, from my knowledge, are relatively newer to the game. So it's very nice to kind of see that like new blood matchup here. In this case, this will be the 9 versus Hibiki.
This matchup always feels kind of interesting to me because I feel like both players think it's a bad matchup. 9 is just not happy to be dealing with a character that can move so fast, and Hibiki is just like, I have no buttons. What do I press here?
Yeah, it can be a bit frustrating to kind of deal with. But it's another one of those matchups where 9 has to deal with a relatively high mobility character.
Exactly.
Wait, man, 2D, 3D is not really too crazy in this matchup. Because 9 would have to be starting to throw out like God Hand kind of recklessly for that to be relevant.
One thing the big call out, and you get it at least once against every 9, is Hibiki's C super, the one where he throws the knives at you, are especially good at calling out rock. So if 9s are just autopiloting into it, you can catch that and get like very good damage, and you steal the corner.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that burst in that situation. That damage wasn't going to lead to like anything too crazy. And while the Oki can be annoying, I feel like you're better off just kind of either backdashing afterwards or like maybe bursting the next hit instead, because the damage is kind of already done. Wow! I love BlazBlue air throws. This game is so funny.
About a clip that put on YouTube, title it Rock Counterplay 9 the Phantom. Oh my god.
I swear to god. It's goofy. Reset
spreading
into the
misinformation, getting reset. Oh my goodness. That's the 9 effect.
We're gonna call those mix-ups every now and then. Misinformed mixes. This is what we're doing.
That's Lucy, you know, for people who haven't played BlazBlue for comically large amount of hours, you do kind of have to warm up into the rock. Be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to block this a lot. And Lucy now blocking it, but
stocked up. Oh,
there we go.
Reaction.
She's warm.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh.
Oh, okay. Everyone gets one.
Set up high-low. DPs instead. Wow.
And now 9 with no stock, so Hibiki doesn't have to respect any sort of reversal here.
Well, there's still reversal super, but it is relatively slow and can get hit stop OS. However, though, Lucy's going to end up getting corner carry off of this. Dashes out straight up. That is not like a body invuln. That's only projectile invuln. Sonic was just like, I'm leaving. I was like, I'm leaving. I'm good. You're not meeting me. I'm out. I'll see you later.
See the goat here. Yeah, has to take a pretty passive round start against 9.
Alright, good dive kick there. The clone ends up connecting and sort of anti-airing Sonic here. Skull is set up right there. That's a great spell in order to cover 9. Rock is still available. Only will take 1 C normal. That could have been such a huge punish, but what an awkward situation to be.
Yeah, that must have crossed up some sort of input. Yeah, a scramble no one was ready for. Oh my god.
I definitely agree here. Alright, meteors are set up there. Whoa! Lucy just barely weaving it out.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You usually want to react with that rapid, and so not able to hit confirm the block. Or sorry, confirm the block to get an overhead there. Just has to land.
Click OD, click OD, click OD. They're gonna rock. I know it. I knew it.
Okay, ODR.
Okay, you're fine.
It's a little short. ODR, so it's only going to be 4 seconds, and it's already gone. But Lucy now in active flow has that bonus damage, and
hold on a second here. Spooky in the chat
saying,
hold on, let me go on a little tirade real quick. Spooky here saying Tweedo stop backseating. Okay, I played Hibiki in CF1 because Bullet was garbage. So every time I see a Hibiki player, when I see Lucy play, I'm like, man, I see the lines. I know what's going on. I know it. But also just because Sonic was going for a lot of rock stuff, like he just wake up OD and just kill him. But anyway, I'm not playing. I'm commentating. Jesus. Okay.
Ooh, Lucy lucky to not be the clone there. Chose correctly.
Yo, I swear to God, her interactions with clone have been like shockingly favorable in like weird situations where it shouldn't work. Like that should be stuff like you can stuff the clone with like a normal, right? but
Yeah.
like Lucy manages, like the clone manages to like hit at just the right time that like Sonic gets counter hit instead, and it's just really funny to see that play out.
Yeah, Lucy's the anime character. The clone is always the one you don't suspect.
I swear to God, yes.
He's got that Naruto instincts. Okay.
Okay, as well here. Rocket set up, very good awareness right there.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's a situation where 2D is not really going to be as favorable. This should be death if Sonic finishes the confirm.
Alright.
This
Oh,
is a
yeah.
real awkward set of hits here, but Sonic ends up coming out the victor.
I understand the feeling there of like I have to improv something because if I land into it, Nine's gonna rapid and then get some mix-up on me. But yeah, not gonna be able to come up with something fast enough.
Yeah. I want to talk about the 2Ds and 3Ds a little bit further because we kind of started talking about them at the beginning of the set, but I think kind of seeing the example play. Wow, that anti-air! I don't understand like the hitbox interactions that are happening here.
Staying in.
Okay, pop OD. No, not going to confirm the kill with OD. The command roll is not going to end up following up despite the autocorrect.
And that's
Oh.
trying to go for Azuna against Nine is so risky, just because she can be so unpredictable. And if you're stuck in that command jump, counter hit state, you can just get cooked.
Yeah, I would say it's the fact that you have to be incredibly reactive and have good positioning already going into it. Oh my God, what a tag! Nice confirm as well. Seed is set. Ends up connecting on the second hit.
Yeah.
DP from Lucy still gets him out.
Okay.
You can't go for 2B there. You got a 2A. She's only like, what, -5 or so? Crosses up with the teleport in this situation. Lucy's down a lot of
last
resources
chance here.
Anyone, some clean hit from Sonic will get it done.
Followed the clone that time. Trying to dash, and this is like, oh, this is so hard. Nine's just staying
clock
away
is
from you.
ticking
Clock
now.
is ticking. Oh,
Another
and I should
JB.
burn off of that.
So beautiful there, and Sonic ends up taking the set 2-0. Okay, I'm gonna soapbox. That's the word I was thinking of. I've been thinking about this all night, and I've lost it. Anyway, so Lucy in a lot of situations was trying to go for like 2D, and like 3D, in response to XtremeSonic jumping in, typically when he had like a projectile spell stock. So like the rock or the electro ball, right?
Yeah.
Those moves suck because 9 is in the air in that situation. So Hibiki's not typically gonna hit quite high enough in order to clip 9 out, especially because 9 can choose to pop the spell at any height she cares for. So in that situation, instead, what's actually a lot more useful is that you can kind of jump in an air throw or dash under, and the rock will whiff, right? Other thing that's important to note is that rock has a minimum distance, so it will always hit a set distance away from 9, and then it like tracks. I believe that's how it works. I always forget the exact details, but it has a minimum distance, so it can only track you so far. So there are certain situations in which it's not necessarily going to hit. I need to boot up the game because now I forget if it's like minimum distance or max distance. Crap.
2D
I don't want to spread
and 3D also, not 45 frames total. So even if you're like perfectly going through the rock with the projectile invul, 9's still recovering first.
Yeah, it's not super good in that situation, right? Like in that matchup, you would want a 2D 3D against like God Hand if someone's trying to get like shiesty with it.
Something with recovery.
Yeah, super high startup, super high recovery, pretty reactable overall. But yeah, in those situations, maybe cross unders or air throws or other options to kind of air to air would be better in that situation. Or you just let 9 land, because realistically, if she's in the air, the only low option she has is like seed, and that's mad slow. It's very easy to react to and like jump out of there. She's doing it from the air with no setup. Everything else is like overheads, and if she's gonna land and go for all the way for a 3C, like who cares? You just see that, you block accordingly. But a bit more to talk about on that matchup. I have a lot of thoughts. We don't have enough time. It's Fuzzama versus Ryukasin. These guys are in losers' quarters. It's somewhat unusual to see them in this situation.
Two players known for making very deep runs into the Boston Blue Leagues. BostonBlueBeat weeklies.
Dude, it's a tongue twister.
We're getting there.
It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it too much.
Take it one battle at a time. Fuzzama, excellent throw.
All right, that's going to be his first hit of the set so far. Unfortunate drop there. I don't think the JB was necessarily intentional. However, that one certainly was. Gonna get the maximum chain extensions as well. This is looking very good. OG comes out from Ryuga-sim. Fuzzama wants to play it relatively safe, but...
What a conversion here! Still tons of Magatama to spend, and we'll get this active flow EA for the bonus damage.
3 stars available, and you put yourself in an active flow. I'd say that's quite a good OD from Ryuga-sim here. Oh man, and those air dares are not going to work out. Too much setup, and Ryuga-sim already there with an roll to stuff plus his approach.
Ryuga-sim's overdrive game plan. So vicious. That was so much damage. And, you know, Fuzzama with the burst, like, if Fuzzama got opened up by, like, Sengatsu or whatever, you can just burst the first hit, you dodge all the high damage. With the overdrive, you're just stuck taking it.
Okay. Ryuga-sim down at least about half health. Okay. Thankfully, the, Jesus, this is a lot of funny situations. Because the chain is technically a projectile, Hakumen can cut it. So it leads to certain interactions where, like, Hakumen can throw out, like, a sword normal and stuff. But he's dead, by the way. He's, like, absolutely dead.
Eviscerated here. Gonna build the 50 bar.
Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, this guy is so good. Jesus. What a good OD from Fuzz right there. Managing to find a solid situation to pop it over there. That'll help him secure the round and even it up. But now Ryuga-sim does end up going into the last round with a full OD stock. That could prove very useful for early advantage.
Doing well on Magatama here.
Fuzz getting clipped by a couple of normals in this situation. Just to find a knockdown, not too crazy on the Oki here, but getting another hit. That's about 50 meter, 70%. Active flow probably pops in the next couple of hits for Fuzz. Let's see what we get here. Should be pretty standard confirmed. Right now,
basic active flow almost up for Ryuga-sim actually.
Oh, that's funny. And right now, speaking of which, that OD timer, that OD for Ryuga-sim, he is wicked. I'm telling you.
Here we go, active flow.
OD, it's party time. Let's see if he can get this kill here. Not gonna opt for any on Tetsu loops in this situation. Tries to
Oh yeah, had to reset there. Wasn't gonna kill. Oh, but yeah.
There's a lot to talk about that reset there. We'll get to it a little bit later. Right now, Fuzz and Ryuga-sim very, very close. The chain barely connects. He wasn't expecting it to hit, I think.
With the active flow, it's going to be pretty much tied on overdrive. Oh my... The perfect dive kick there, getting around the anti-air.
Just barely getting it in that situation. Fuzzama tends to be very liberal with the J2 and 4Bs, the Jamagens there. He loves to use it to kind of alter his momentum. Additionally, the counter hit is super good for a confirm. So there's a couple of situations there where you'll see Fuzz try to get tricky with it, especially if he's low on chains. There's another neutral interaction that I think is really interesting happening here and there, where like Ryuga-sim kind of stands there at like full screen, just kind of doing nothing and chilling, building up meter. And then if Fuzz is low on chains, he kind of also has to stand there. So they both sort of just stare at each other while they build up their resources before engaging.
Yes, and they're both pretty happy about it. They both need the resources for their game plan.
Yeah. Kind of curious to see what both of their thoughts are on it in terms of like, how much do I let this person build up their like stocks? How much do I let this person build up meter? Okay. It's gonna be a big hit here starting on. Getting that OG Yukikaze is very good. Plenty of meter to spend. Oh, we're gonna cash out. Okay. Bet it all on black and the stomp doesn't connect.
Still building Magatama, but now Fuzzama with their own opportunity. That drop is very unfortunate for missing out on the Poki.
Yeah, and this gives Ryuga such a huge chance. However, that is immediately snatched away. Jesus, yeah. So the 63D right when we're like, oh yeah. And now Fuzzama is moving on to set point currently. even on burst gauges here. And so far, it feels like from the first round, it has made a lot of adjustments to look much more comfortable against Ryukasin here.
Ooh. Yeah, now has to navigate around that board. Ryukasin getting a lot of advantage every time that connects with the chain. Ooh.
Yeah, trying to go for those 5A resets. Relatively prolific for those, I would say. The clash on the 2C. Plus still managed to end up canceling into a Gatling there. The next situation working out well for them. It's only 2B, so that OD is not going to lead to a punish. A lot of special cancels coming in from Ryukasin. That's going to be one hit, but not enough meter nor OD timer to really make huge use of it. That EA in OD is still going to help cash out quite a bit with, with active failure. Next hit from Fuzz probably kills here. Full resources on deck.
One hit away now for pretty much both players.
That car cancel, okay. Alright, ends up going into Snake Kick, should be able to kill here. Just have to pray for no drops. Should be able to keep it relatively burst safe, doesn't even need to bother adjusting. OD combo is enough to take them right into loser semifinals and send Ryukasin packing.
Wiggle 2-0 there from Fuzz. Navigating it all, kind of winning out the resources. And, you know, I am kind of curious, because I'd imagine that, right, like one resource is more important than the other, and I feel like it's on a player-to-player basis. Ryukasin probably just likes having a lot of Magatama, but I'd say probably like Fuzzama needs chains more than Hakumen needs meter, and so I'd imagine that Hakumen wants to be going in there. What would you say about those two resources?
That's a good question. I think Hakumen benefits the most from playing the waiting game. Okay. And the only reason why I say that is because even if Fuzzama gains chains, he still has the ability to wall them out with by cutting them. Yeah. So even if Fuzzama gets the resources, it's still annoying for him to get in. So I'd say it's like a necessary evil for Fuzzama to sort of wait out that situation and build up chains. Because realistically, having a step dash and dealing with Hakumen sounds like suffering. Oh wait, I've suffered that. But the point being that it is difficult when you don't really have you have the very restricted movement options without chains that Fuzzama has.
All right, I'm being convinced.
What are you convinced of?
Of which resource is more important?
Dude, my brain immediately swapped. I was like, what's going on here?
9-set shift onto the next game. XtremeSonic, after beating StardustLucy, is now going up against Play Guy. Oh, alright.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's maybe a controller issue, but we're moving forward with this.
Full connection thing, chasing after the death spike.
I like the step right there, showing it early. Just as a way of saying, hey, look, your 2-3-6Ds are going to get steps, so you might want to readjust your... You went for spam?
That was just the resource dumps of resource.
There are some times where you kind of where some players really want to are very tunnel visioned on their game plan, and they will spend all the money in the world to...
Yes. I need Play Guy to be in the corner. I'm
right. It's just there's no way. If I have to block, it's a rough situation. I'm not as confident, or I'm very nervous about it. And I know my offense is good and my character's game plan is good. So I have to do it. And that can often lead to player habits that will expose people and kind of lead to them getting smoked if it gets called out. Awkward hit right there. I like the use of Blood Sight to swap and still remain plus. Very awkward normal to anti-air for 9.
Alright, counter assault to keep this positioning.
I beat it, but still not able to quite punish it there. At a certain
reversal
point,
that is not minus enough.
Yeah, it's just one of those situations where because it costs a resource, it's balanced around that. You can hit stop OS it though, so you can opt for a backdash in order to kind of get away from it. Right now though, XtremeSonic gets the first
starting for XtremeSonic. He's gonna get the corner positioning.
Worst comes out from Play Guy, does not want to deal with that OP any bit anyway.
Yeah. Even with the life deficit and up around, Play Guy opting to spend the burst here.
Crushed by the rock,
confident,
however.
maybe a little bit misplaced. Ooh.
Yeah, doesn't want to deal with the meteors, so just forced to back off in that situation. It gives Sonic a lot of space to work with here.
Yeah, nice. I like the low recovery air-to-air, using the JA to contest the teleports.
Yeah, Ragnar JA in this matchup is so good. Simply because, like, JA is already fantastic, and just as a way of, like, stuffing the space where you think 9 is going to teleport to, very, very powerful option, I would say. Counter Assault might come out, but 6A!
The ocean is vast.
Indeed
Ragnar
it is.
getting caught by that. Oh my god.
Sunk into the depths by quite the Titanic normal indeed here. Right now, XtremeSonic's going to try to push forward in this situation. Maybe trying to build stocks with like the couple of the fire spell usage there.
Yeah, but Play Guy, a Titan in their own regard, trying to not sink here, gonna get DP'd.
Now forced to deal with the rock in this situation. Hopefully it doesn't end up bursting. You don't want to kind of let that gauge go away in that situation.
It happens to everybody.
Yeah, it happens to everybody, and suddenly your game plan kind of explodes in that situation. Bursting against 9 on that Oki is not good. You really, really want to be mindful of the actual situation that's going on, right? Like, yes, obviously the confirm on the rock is going to end up killing, but still, at a certain point, 9 is probably going to have to get within burst range in order to finish her combo. So you kind of want to wait that out in that situation, because otherwise it means nothing for 9 to just simply stand there and look at a burst and say, oop, I hit the button again.
Yes. Very, very annoying if you're trying to DP or do a big burst against 9. She generally does not have to walk into your personal space to get her offense started.
Oh, that's very funny interaction there. Play Guy trying to dash up forward because otherwise they would have gotten counter hit by the meteors. The throw there was kind of funny as a way to like spot that out there. We are backdashing out of that.
Dash through the 6B, excellent. Yeah, like you said, Scythe difficult to anti-air for 9.
Yeah, it can be awkward for certain characters in the casting genre, just due to like sometimes like the crosses. It's just a weird thing sometimes. A few interactions though, going really, really in favor of Play Guy. That was like oddly fast, I feel like.
Hey, again, very good JAs.
Yeah, Sonic trying to get very, trying to commit very hard with the air throw round start there. Gonna get blown up by Play Guy. Burst comes out from Sonic in this situation. Trying to get themselves some space, but Play Guy is right there to cover it with those JAs. Goes for the throw. This is going to connect, and this should lead to death here. Should be a pretty simple OD to super. No, straight BBB. Either way, that's a dead man.
Calculated. Excellent there. Play Guy with a perfect now. Trying to put the brakes here on this upset by XtremeSonic.
Yeah. So now, with a huge changing of the tides here in this situation, we're looking pretty even in this. Well, not pretty even. We're literally looking even in the set right now, as both players are 1-1 here in this situation, trying to fight their way through losers.
Yeah, Play Guy with all the momentum now. XtremeSonic has to be sure that they don't collapse here.
Yeah, this is going to be a pretty dangerous situation here. Let's see if they can maintain control of this pace, and immediately not necessarily in their, not ideal for them. However, okay,
yes.
Might be able to cook.
We're fine, yeah. Bursting early, not advisable, but XtremeSonic does get to play their game plan because of it, and a very unfortunate DP there for XtremeSonic. All the momentum stopped here.
Oh, I see what's going on here. That was very fun here. We're going to talk about it after the round here. Let's see what Play Guy has for OP afterwards. If I were him, I'd just go for immediate and take a counter assault there. Yeah. Just simply opt for it in that situation. Looks like there might have been a backdash startup, and that is counter hit recovery, or counter hit startup. So to kind of talk about the funny thing, there was a lot of 2Ds there that Sonic got clipped by, and because the yellow exclamation point was there, you can see that he was blocking high. I think that was catching a lot of fuzzy jump attempts by XtremeSonic, or just raw jump. So it was very funny that Play Guy afterwards, you know, kind of abided by the rule of threes and switched it up on the third hit, opting for the overhead instead.
It's true in comedy and it's true in fighting games. Great overheads. Keeping it up here, Play Guy, all the momentum. XtremeSonic gonna get it and spend it there with that burst.
IDJA ends up catching here in this situation here. J2A catches, awkward knockdown, but the meteors are still there to cover as a meaty, but the wake up OD from Play Guy is going to help get him through this. Gains a lot of life, especially from propping Active Flow off of the Devoured by Darkness here. Such a huge life lead there. Very much so surmountable for XtremeSonic, but they've got to make waves here in this situation. Looking for just one hit to get into their Oki here. Pops gravity, not going to get too much done.
Barely living here on the meter to spend. Going to waste here for XtremeSonic.
That 4B not going to connect there. I wonder why they opted for 4B. I don't know if it has a lower hitbox than 4A and 4C. But just a thing to kind of note there. It was a little bit unusual there. But it felt like Play Guy kind of, when all was said and done, had the mental fortitude to get through the rest of that set there at the end, especially with like the momentum from like game 2. That was crazy.
All right, we'll get into your vehicle of choice and get some momentum over to BostonBlueBeat Beach episode rerun.
Yes.
We're going on the 15th. On the 15th, we're playing fighting games. On the 16th, we're going to the beach, baby. We've got all the games you've come to tournaments for. Exard, Strive, plus R for Guilty Gear, Melty Blood, BlazBlue, and more Melty Blood, as well as them fighting herds and more. You can register at StarGG, BostonBlueBeat, and we're all going to be there, so come on, show up.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. We've got a bunch of sponsors as well. We've got some people like Junk Foods Arcades that's sponsoring us for our third season of third season of partnerships. You know, they're known for their snack box micros, and we've got much more to insert to show off, like our BostonBlueBeat themed ones. We'll be raffling them as well at Beach episode, if I recall correctly. I will be corrected and yelled at if I'm wrong. Additionally, we do have Axis Games sponsoring. You know, they're a long-time video game publisher. You know, they translate and localize a lot of Japanese video games. You know, like BlazBlue, like Guilty Gear, Unright, and a ton more. And we've partnered with them to provide a $100 pop bonus to CF and Guilty Gear Exard for Beach episode. And one of our last sponsors that we got going on here, which I'm personally super excited about, is Fire Chicken. If you are a Boston local, you'll know them from Alston, and they're literally across the venue from Balance Patch. Fire Chicken is really prominent with their Korean fried chicken, chicken sandwiches, and Korean corn dogs, and they'll be supporting us this year at Beach episode for a chance to win gift cards for participating entrants. You guys should definitely pull up for those. Fire Chicken is really, really good. It's really, really filling. The portions are massive. The food is good. The service is nice. It's a very chill venue.
Of course, you're sold. You're on StartGG signing up right now.
Dude.
Excellent public speakers and even better salesmen. So how are you going to warm up? How are you going to be ready? We've got online events here at BostonBlueBeats. Of course, BlazBlue Central Fiction, what we're playing right now on Mondays, and then also Plus R on Tuesdays. Get warmed up, get ready for these brackets. Show 'em.
Yeah.
Get that grind on.
Yes, there's a ton of brackets available for CF in general, and I feel like there's always a ton for like Guilty Gear, no matter what game you play, right? But you know, in general, especially with a couple of the more major brackets coming up here, we do have CF as a side bracket at EVO, which I'm sure is going to be pretty insane, as well as CEO Taku coming up, right? So we got a couple of big brackets coming up, and if you want to get that practice in online, definitely be sure to pull up. We are always hosting, and we're glad to have you guys show up. That being said, I believe we are ready to move forward with our bracket here today with our losers our winners. They're winning.
Final.
They're winning winners that won. Crap! I always
excellent.
get mixed up with General So's chicken. I gotta stop doing that, man.
Playing some winning characters, and they've got winning personalities. We've got Spooky going up against Bloodbro4life.
Yes. So this will be Arakune versus Rachel. I know personally Spooky has a good amount of experience against Rachel as a character, so probably shouldn't be too many knowledge checks necessarily. We have a local Rachel player, Benpai, who often pulls up the commentate, so I am quite sure that there's a lot of familiarity that Spooky has now. We'll, of course, have to see what unique ideas and such that Bloodbro has to offer.
Both players rocking up with the red color palette. There will be blood tonight.
I swear, I'm glad I'm not colorblind. This would be rough. moving forward here, we got a bit of neutral play here. It looks like Bloodbro just wants to set up a couple of projectiles and such on the screen, pollute it up in order to catch out Spooky, and doing so quite smoothly here now. Put a transition into some set play.
If you've ever been driving before, you can kind of understand the Rachel offense. The second they block George, that's the green light. That's go. Boom.
Yeah, for sure,
Step on
right?
that
Like,
gas.
there's an interesting dynamic. I didn't realize this until years later. Just to say, like, okay, that's a burst coming out there. If Spooky gets this next hit and survives this Oki, counterassault. Oh, wow. Then this is curse time. No burst, only the meter for a counter assault, even if that, like, assuming that doesn't get baited.
Yeah, it's gonna get crossed up or some other terrible.
More instant overhead after the cross up, you know? Like, things just happen. Spooky, despite getting put on the back foot early in the round, ends up taking the first round of this winner's final set here.
They're very even on the overdrive resources here, and Blood already half cursed now. Yeah, and getting just harassed by this cloud, and that's it.
And that's one of the things, if you get good cloud RNG as, like, Arakune, it could really mess up someone's neutral game plan. We haven't even seen a single curse mix-up. Bloodbro's already at, like, 50%. Ooh, gonna be an unfortunate situation for Spooky. Getting caught, I think that was 3C, and then it ended up getting caught by the lightning pillar there. Raw standing overhead, you know, we gotta let him know.
Yeah. Bloodbro, oh my god, not able to keep the single-player game up there. Spooky able to get out of the corner here with overdrive now, so chance available if they want to try and take this round. Here we go, 8 second.
First gauge is gone, but that fills up a lot faster with the overdrive. However, Chair ends up connecting on the dive. Great reaction from Bloodbro in order to take the round there.
Yeah, it fought through a very dangerous situation there, but now feeling excellent. 3 out of 10 here for Spooky's overdrive. And Blood sitting on a full bar.
Also want to shout out real quick, thank you for raiding us, XtremeSonic. Nice to have you along for the bracket. Love to see you pull up. Right now, stuck dealing with Rachel's set play. By God, it is a bit rough here for Arakune, I would say.
Hasn't built the counter assault yet, so has to block the whole thing. No burst.
You know, there's one weird habit that I'm noticing out of Bloodbro that, like, I don't think has no. What a clash on the shark! That is really weird. I think Spooky reacted really late to it, and so they ended up, like, actually, like, ending their combo early. Burst gets baited,
Excellent.
and that is gonna be the game. What a weird set of situations there. Okay, we're gonna back up from scratch a little bit.
Walk us
here.
back to the habit.
Yeah, we don't see really as many instant overheads from Bloodbro. Like, they're often going for just 4B, just the regular standing overhead, which has a lot of startup. And I think at that point, if I am, you know, Bloodbro's opponent, I'm just gonna crouch block and just react to the standing overheads. Because realistically speaking, like, until the instant overheads are getting shown, you might as well just work with what you're seeing. And that's, like, when you might want to wait out, like, 5B and then guess high level, right? But it's just, like, interesting seeing.
Could be a playstyle development. We've kind of pointed out that Blood uses wind very liberally and will kind of run out of it. So, opting to keep the mix-ups windless. Oh?
I suppose. I'm just curious about it, because, like, her confirms, like, off of the instant overhead. Like, even if she spends on a win, like, she can get a little bit back and, like, you know, set George and sit there. But I'm curious to pick their brain about it at some point, if that's feasible. Right now, though, Spooky is doing Arakune things, and there's a dead Rachel on the screen. There's not much more to talk about it.
Good stuff there. Longer set here, of course, in the winners finals, so these players are going to have more time than usual to suss out each other's patterns and habits here. Already talking a little bit about some of Blood. Yep, doing the strike throw air dash now. Oh, that was maybe the first one.
Yeah, actually,
And
that's a good idea.
answering it immediately.
Yeah, I wonder if it was because, like, it was a little bit delayed there, and, like, Spooky just kind of saw, like, oh, this is a weird air dash. I'm just gonna fire that. Either way, it's curse. Burst comes out from Bloodbro here.
Round down, so you have to spend it eventually.
Oh, she can get out of this? Okay, good knowledge. That super allows opponents to move out of it a little faster than you think. If you get clipped by it, that dude Arakune is running around with full curse meter. It sucks.
Ooh! Roll caught there. We see curse off of this? Yes.
Looking real good. Has to reset in this situation. I'm not going to kill off that starter, but
yeah, not a hard task for Arakune. He can do a little reset.
Yeah, with that much curse timer, like, it's a matter of, like, how, rather than a matter of if.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going into game 3 here. What do you think are some adjustments that, like, Bloodbro needs to make in order to kind of keep pushing forward here?
I'd say the main one is, of course, snowball on this Arakune. Keep, you know, once you get started, take it all the way to the bank, because, yeah, in this situation, you know, the longer you're playing neutral, the bigger a risk that this is going to happen to you. And then I also am not, I feel like Bloodbro, a lot of the wind I've seen them use has been like retreating, you know, going corner to corner, the normal Rachel stuff, and that is a little bit less useful against Arakune. So I'd like to see like a, you know, like what's the new idea that we've come up with here.
Yeah, especially because Rachel air normals are still very good at air to air, and I would assume, this is a guess, I'll be frank, that they're still useful against Arakune even when he's like maneuvering around all the JBs and such. Like, Rachel JC is crap. That button is very silly. But we haven't really seen it as much. It's mostly just been the projectiles. 3C comes out right there, but now this is curse, assuming no reaction.
Counter are still available, but so hard to get off correctly with how many left-right mix-ups there are. Trying to fuzzy jump there, he's gonna get cracked regardless.
Now Spooky ends up taking the first round of game 3 here. Looking poised to take a lead in terms of games, but we'll see what Bloodbro has to say. I like the Win 6C. It's really nice with aggro option around start.
Alright, early overdrive. Oh no!
I wonder if their input got caught by something, or if they tried to like mash and they simply got clipped by Bloodbro. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Well, this is it. This is Bloodbro's round to win, and I feel like a lot of this set is going to come down to can they close this out. Okay, not looking. There we go.
Okay, pending still.
Yes.
I was gonna say pending derogatory if curse mix-up started happening.
Yeah.
It looks like, oh, not able to quite finish it up. This is gonna be very close.
Okay.
Wow, these drops are really affecting the entirety of the set here. That literally shifts whether or not kill. You
Overdrive's a stick mid. We love the moth.
Oh my god. Look at the barrier gauge.
Set up. Oh, the chair!
Still chair. Dealing with curse mix-ups. You're mashing 2C. You're truly just mashing that. Caution to the literal wind, pun unintended. This is what we're doing.
I felt kind of bad because I felt like I had written Bloodbro4life out of the script there, but even without being able to finish with the single-player game in the corner there, able to keep Arakune there for the rest of the round, still, like, coming out as the hero with the overdrive advantage now.
Well, speaking of which,
first spent.
George is still there, and we've been seeing Arakune. We haven't talked about it, but Spooky's had really good knowledge. Yeah. Catching the special cancel there, this is going to lead to curse, because that does lead to curse when Arakune is in the corner.
Why wouldn't it? Oh my god.
This character's messed up. What are you talking about? This character's not, like, top tier, but, like, you know, he still has some things that are very, like, I don't know about degen entirely. Kind of degen. But yeah, really good knowledge by Spooky there. A lot of times people, like Rachel's, want to, like, special cancel there because it's very difficult to contest. Like, if she throws the Lobelia and you try to poke it, you either get countered by the Lobelia or you hit it and it just bounces and the electric rod is placed, etc., for certain other projectile options here. Right now, Very curious to see kind of what more we'll see from Spooky in terms of like calling out habits.
Does Rachel have a way to reface after dash?
To rephase, you mean?
Or change the direction she's looking.
When she like commits to like a wind and a dash or something?
Yeah, after she's used wind and dash. Because I feel like the teleports are kind of a big issue. I mean, there we go. But that sort of thing where it's like, Bloodbro can't come down with a button because Rachel's looking the wrong direction. And I know that, like, for 9, for instance, if 9 casts a spell, she refaces. And I don't know if Bloodbro has a way to do that.
I think... I don't recall exactly. That's an interesting question, actually.
I think it's a little bit too hard to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
I was thinking about that, as that might be helpful for dealing with the teleport.
Feel free to put me on the spot. Trust me. Do not worry about it. I will survive. I think the other answer, right, is that Bloodbro could often like go for like J2C as well, right? Like, and that will be direction agnostic, so they don't necessarily have to worry about being on the wrong side.
Yeah.
And JC is still good if Arakune is like above. So there are certain options that don't really matter in terms of direction. And I know for sure that like if she's already started like an animation, wow, we just really commented
that was
Spooky just died. That was we just watched a body bag get slowly packed up and zipped up. Jesus Christ. I know that Rachel's like stuck facing a direction if she like wins and then immediately goes into an animation like Rebellion, right? But she has to complete it. She doesn't like change direction mid anything. Otherwise, I'm not really too sure. Okay. Good OD right there. Chair after OD, I don't... That's trying to go for... It's a big call-out. That's doing a lot. I'll put it that way. Okay. Wow, dash recovery gets caught by George in this situation.
Yeah. We want to take this Rachel pressure to the bank right now. Arakune could potentially not get overdrive back. Can't burst out.
You want to be able to seal the duel quickly.
To do the neutral baited, free punish. Don't even have to worry about when it ends. Excellent.
Not going to be able to kill though.
No.
Couldn't squeeze out the damage. Spooky delay text. OD is available. Let's see. Do they teleport to get out of the corner? Not quite yet. They want to get a good curse cloud. There it is. That tracking one's very beneficial.
Probably the best one.
Just barely dashing away. They have to be cognizant of the chair now, right? That thing's been beating up Spooky in a couple of weird instances. Crush
trigger. Has the bar and the active flow damage bonus here. Curse as well.
I think that was a bait on a counter assault attempt because I think I saw like the 6B animation come out.
Yeah, I saw the fork and knife come out, so it would be a counter. But still at the meter, so maybe it was just mashing?
I'm not too sure.
I think Bloodbro had like 90 meter there, so it...
They might have been expecting the they might have been expecting like to be in block stun, and then they just kind of buffered it without like confirming that.
Could have crossed up a barrier input as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could have happened there. Relatively unfortunate in the case of Bloodbro, but I would say a very good set overall. TG.
Yeah.
I see Arakune. Good night, everyone. You will not get gatekept by Arakune at Taku. I swear. You will not get gatekept by that character, bro. DGF's luck in terms of running into Arakune is that man Breaker Dave has been giving him a hard time. I swear to God. Anywho, we're going into now our loser semis match, which is going to be Play Guy versus Fuzzama, a relatively classic matchup for both players here.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, going back to the shorter set here is going to be first to 2. So both kind of like high damage players, I would say. So this could go pretty quickly.
Yeah. So let's see how this ends up panning out here. Both players, I forget their head-to-head count. Because both players, like, it's one of those cases where both players are very familiar with themselves, with each other, both from watching and playing each other. So I'm not too sure how how this will pan out in this specific case here. That being said, we've got our loser semis match here. This determines who gets to fight against Rachel. A privilege, to be sure.
Yes. Stuck up here. Play Guy versus Fuzzama. Again, a matchup seen many times before. The record lost to history.
Right now, solid neutral play from both of them. That's a bold overdrive in order to punish a potential punish from Play Guy here. This is going to lead into this is a lot of damage. And don't forget, the combo damage thing lies because of the lifesteal on Fuzzama OD. That was
definitely, with Fuzz's usual idea of you saving overdrive for the end. Like, it's kind of like Ragnar's drive where it's like the lifesteal is usually not a factor, but in those situations where it takes you from like 1 hit away to 2 hits away, pretty nice. Like, nice
I would say
extra feature to have.
The lifesteal from Fuzzama is more so useful for the damage than the actual life he gains. Because it's not usually like super high, and the combos aren't routed for like maximum like life gain. It's more so like this is a really awesome benefit that like can allow me to survive like an extra interaction or so.
Exactly, and I feel like that comes up more often when you are like on the end of your health bar. Almost going perfect for perfect here. TRM catching that OS Play Guy now in the driver's seat.
If there's anything more BlazBlue a double perfect for like opposite players in consecutive rounds is not uncommon. I put it this way.
Oh, IB into the mash there.
Yeah, calling out the stagger pressure from Play Guy, get the IB input, makes that 2A a bit more minus, and that delay is ever so longer.
Very plus on that charged overhead.
That's a big call-out attempt on the 623D, and Fuzzama, somewhat unusually, been popping that OD a bit reactively when certain big moves whiff in order to stay a little close here. Oh my god. DP beats out the command grab super there.
Alright, and do it again. Unfortunate. Not gonna get there. Fuzzama with a chance. Throw counter.
Gonna keep it relatively burst safe. Getting the burst out of Ragnar is still so beneficial from Fuzzama here in this situation.
Oh, and then you just win!
Oh, also you win. Damn. That was crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
A man who's got everything.
Yeah, a really good job playing it that closely there. Wow. Right now, we are already going into the second game. No hesitation, no waiting, no character select stream. We're going straight to it.
Round per round. Trying to Play Guy stumbling. Fuzzama put up a perfect, and Play Guy was like, I got you, here's mine. Then, couldn't close it out.
Seriously.
Oh, excellent JA here.
GV probably catches the fuzzy jump here. Nice job from Play Guy to call that one out. Doing the Nightmare Edge OP here. Just keeping it simple. Trying to TRM, but Fuzz just backdashes. JA manages to connect. Not a huge confirm here. A couple of scraps and scrapes, but nothing quite solid yet after the initial interactions. That's a weird whiff on the J2C here. Fuzz is going to be able to place Play Guy right into the corner here, however.
This round's staying pretty scrambly. After that corner situation, it's all just kind of been falling into place. How am I going to land? What's going on?
Yeah, there's
Fuzz gonna take.
not a lot of the hits there were really solid. It was kind of like this weird like changing of like positions until Fuzz started to get like a couple of those solid hits and then like running their offense a bit more cleanly. Nice 5A from Play Guy to catch the landing from Fuzz.
Catching a fuzzy there potentially.
I would have to assume so, but even then, 6C is really delayed. That's a weird timing. I suppose that might have helped.
Jump on the 6B there, so Fuzz is going to get out of this corner.
Yeah, right out of the corner, especially with the chain there. Goes in the stance, wants to play it out relatively patiently, but Play Guy, such good movement, right? Like, just the way they're able to weave around a lot of situations. Not going to spend the OD for a kill. They have a big health advantage here. Dortech pops the active flip from Fuzz. The raw 6A!
No Hotenjin, had the meter for it.
I think they did not intend for that to be 6A. I think they were looking for Microdash 5A, so they were like, 6A, oh jeez. Okay,
Stagger's gonna take it.
Yes. Okay, we may have a set yet. Fuzz is at set point here, but we'll see if Play Guy can mount the comeback.
And with a big overdrive advantage as well, throw counter, once again, the Fuzzama classic.
Alright. Stance for the Oki here, gets a charge, stance follow-up, it's going to lead into big damage. This is like 4 or something. Oh my god.
That low is so good as well, because it will beat Ragna's DP, so Fuzz just gets to meaty with that for free.
Yeah, there's a lot of situations in which he can kind of like dance around it there.
Oh, okay.
Expecting Play Guy to back off. Yes, this is going to be a good opportunity. Active Flow for him soon. If he can survive long enough to find an opportunity to pop Active Flow and OD, this is looking very, very doable for him.
Fuzzama probably going to go for an OD or ODR of their own soon.
Oh my god, pop the OD, no! Play Guy too late for the OD activation. Now he has to deal with Fuzzama with 100 meter. At the very least, Fuzz is without.
Oh no!
Oh.
Works out in the end.
I think Play Guy was expecting CA in like 2.5 locations there. And that's why we had a lot of weird like pauses in each hit. Okay. We're moving on to the last game of the set here, loser semis. This is looking a little crazy. If you want to add in some cash like Richter, who dropped $100 for the pot, definitely be sure to hit that exclamation point Matcherino, do a quick login, and add a little bit extra to the pot, yeah? We still got about 21 codes to go here.
You don't gotta drop 100, but 25 cents would be very nice.
25 cents is nice. We do appreciate the big ones and the little ones.
Yeah. Oh, we're not choosy here in Central Fiction.
Look, at the end of the day, like, anything, you know, kind of helps and all that jazz. I would say, look. Oh my goodness, okay.
Uh-oh.
Bit of a pause here. We'll see if it was a connection issue or if it's a spectating issue.
Yeah. That could be a take a round situation. And then...
we'll see what the players decide on here. Pretty unfortunate case there. We'll see if there was perhaps a crash or a connection drop or something of the nature.
And
bring us news. That is insane.
All right. Play Guy on the offense there is going to get messed up by a feline. A little bit of Tau Kaka IRL, and Fuzzama is going to continue on the bracket.
That's unfortunate. You hate to see it, but sometimes that's the nature of net play, where you just have an IRL thing come up. Actually, that's the nature of kind of offline too. I still remember Combo Breaker Grands at CF. That was funny. Anywho, this means that Fuzzama now gets to play against such fantastic matchups, such as Rachel and potentially Arakune, in order to get their lion's share of the over $100 pot that we have now, thanks to some of our generous donations here from the Matcherino.
Oh yeah, you gotta get hype now. This is the grind time. It's not just for the money beach episode. It's about the money tonight.
It's about the money at all times.
Yeah, it's always about the money.
It's about the money now. It's about the money later. But in all seriousness, you know, the pot is always like a nice extra bonus there. But always great to get some practice in and play up against a couple of new people in a bracket environment here. Either way. Wow, words are such a crazy, weird thing, huh? We've got our losers finals match set up here. We got both players in the lobby. We are good to go if the players themselves are good to go. All
right, let's get the thumbs up. Take the cats out of the room. Take the dogs out of the room. Hire some security for that Ethernet cable.
Do what you gotta do. There's probably a product for that. Oh.
Yeah, it's called a big guy with a lot of muscles.
Oh, okay. Speaking of, Spooky mentioning something in the chat. Yeah, if they do get first place, that is Street Fighter 6 money.
Oh?
Yeah, because it's like what? It's like 60%. That's 60%.
Yeah.
60% of $100.
You get the season pass as well.
Yeah, definitely get a little extra money there. Hey, Should be pretty. Buying a game is on the line. I don't know why I find that as funny as I do. Jesus Christ. Okay, but moving forward with it here, this is going to be losers finals. Fuzz has played against Rachel and specifically Bloodbro on a couple of instances. It's hard to call it for either player. Either way, this is going to be a 3 out of 5 set. We got a lot of time to spend with each other here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's get into it. Let's get excited. This is losers finals now. Fuzzama up against Bloodbro4life. Starting out fast.
Yeah, just barely dodging the 3C.
Oh. That's always. Oh my. Baiting with that little dive kick of Rachel's. George is going to take this combo all the way.
He ends up connecting here. A couple of interactions where Fuzz is getting caught trying to escape, and now Bloodbro's in such a great position, but the rollout does succeed. Bloodbro not checking post George Oki with like 2A to check for rolls there. Something to perhaps note in this situation. Tech is caught by the stance. Another stance follow-up. No confirm, sadly. Just a hair late on that, it looked like.
Very fortunate there. Bloodbro4life gonna get very nice advantage here. Get back to neutral. Yeah, and zone him out.
Yeah. And one of those big things about this matchup is that if there is a lightning rod placed under Fuzzama, it is very difficult for him to like go into a chain and then follow up. Because he
got
can
that
get
on reaction.
Oh god. Speaking of, maybe that was predictive. We'll see throughout the set if it was more reactive or not. It's kind of an important thing, you know, for player-to-player interactions to suss those sorts of things out.
Look, yeah, we're an accessible game. We got one-button DPs. Check it out. Take a seat.
Unfortunately, oh wow, that is unfortunate. That is such a weird situation. 63D not going to come out. Yeah, Tempestali is going to cover that quite well. Fuzz gets their hit. No microdash on the 5B, sadly.
And that's a good example of Rachel's resources being kind of fungible. Like, you can trade meter for wind. So if you're trying to escape too hard and you just gotta get it back, that Dahlia is gonna be there for you.
Yeah, it's part of what makes Rachel's wind economy like very easy to work with in a lot of circumstances. Backdash gets called out, which means the 2-1 for me has a weird air hit. Command grab connects. Alright, that's a dead Rachel.
Alright, round for round here to start. And now, both players with overdrive, so first to one in rounds right now.
Essentially. Bloodbro's doing a nice job moving the screen here, trying to make it more difficult for Fuzz to get around the area. That 5B does kill projectiles because, yes.
It's a projectile.
It's got the property on it. Still will hit you, even if you believe it hit that. If I recall correctly, I forget that specific. It's a little weird.
Yeah, judging by Rachel's position on the tier list, I'm inclined to believe you. Alright, George sliding in. Oh, he just keeps going.
Yeah, Fuzz tried to go for a couple of air throws, but it looks like the wind momentum helped screw that up a little bit. That snake kick's not going to connect. Just a little too far. Yeah, Bloodbro happened to be spaced like after that knockdown there. And this is going to be really
with
bad.
Their own overdrive to spend.
Yay, maybe won't kill with the minimum damage. Let's see. Not going to kill.
Yeah, needed a little bit more gas there. But lightning does strike twice. Fuzzama is going to be buried this game one, but we got more to give.
Yeah, that's one of the frustrating things. That situation kind of, I would say, encapsulates an annoying situation that you can deal with against Rachel, where you'll see her go for a move like that, and you're like, oh, okay, like, I can take my turn, right? And then she triggers lightning, or she throws the Lobelia, and it happens to frame trap. Yeah. It's just that little bit extra that you, for when you think it's over. Speaking of which, you still got a bit extra on those Matcherino codes. Be sure to hit !Matcherino. Hit the link. There's like 20 codes left. We could definitely clear that up by the time we get to Grand Finals. A few chains are going to go in there. No dice for a solid hit, but Plus has successfully pushed Bloodbro into the corner.
Patient here. No chains, and they're back.
And that's the problem. The bats are set. It's very difficult to deal with it afterwards. A couple of 5As just barely whiffing.
Yeah, and now no wind, no bar. Bloodbro, a little bit more of a sitting duck.
But at the same time, if Fuzz is low on chains, that makes it very difficult to engage with Rachel. He has to get a clean hit in order to refresh those stocks to get that follow-up.
Yeah, while you're waiting, you just kind of have to sit there. Fuzzama with the step dash, not great in escaping these projectiles.
Yeah, and even then, like that, those B-falls are getting called out by the lightning rods. Because their height is just so, their hitbox is so tall, it's really difficult for Fuzzama to kind of like super jump and then kind of like escape and then go for a chain follow-up.
Fuzzama rolling right out of the George thing there. Once again, something to think about as this set goes on.
Yeah, we might see this happen a bit more often though. And there's the lightning rod.
Oh, not gonna connect! Super for super here.
Oh my god, and it's the Lobelia at the end, trying to ball it in right there, ever so tightly. 2C ends up connecting. This should be a beefy anti-air in this situation. So many chain follow-ups just for it to do 3K. The delay tech is getting called out, but it looks like Fuzz isn't quite as comfortable with the window where it becomes a red boot combo again. It's a bit of a weird time where you want to go for a 2A to call out roll, and then go for another 2A to kind of pick up for a new combo. Speaking of which, big drop there.
Hey, that horrible drop.
Lobelia RC into 3C. A devious sequence indeed.
A lot of devious characters in this top three. Arakune and Rachel. Very devious characters.
66%.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, Spooky kind of mentioning it in the chat, but to emphasize, right? Because Rachel is such a strong character in the way that she can access her win condition and how strong that win condition is, dropping a combo against her is a very, very disastrous situation. If it's really necessary, sometimes you just gotta go for the very simple combos just to, like, get your knockdown settled there. You know, putting Rachel on the back foot is very good! Much like that air throw in this situation here.
I'm putting a pin in that drop between matches. Check this out. Blood has to escape this corner now. No burst available and no count meter for counter assault.
Lightning rod, if they even get out of the corner there. The last hit of JC connects for an overhead. Alright. Counter assault is possible here, but it's the chair that comes out. No RC on it, surprisingly.
That was on reaction.
They fully believe in it.
Right, going in. George behind me, but not. This has to burst there.
This is going to be dicey. Snake kick whiffs.
Again, Hotenjin for the belly.
Fuzz is trying to engage very quickly, but the Tempest Dolly is going to slow down the pace of the round very well. I can't tell if that crossed up, I won't lie. Bloodbro trying to bait out something from Fuzz, barely involved
able to get around the
B-fall.
lightning.
Has to stay planted, but that gives Bloodbro so much time to set up.
George is very close here, is going to find their way in for George just walking back and forth.
Tried to counter assault, ends up becoming 6B, no punish for it.
Oh, last win stock, but
what
still,
happened there?
Bloodbro gonna win it.
Fuzzama ended up careening backwards instead of moving forward. I wonder if that was because of the wind and the B follow up there. That was such a strange situation.
Excellent stuff. And yeah, the drop was unfortunate, but Fuzzama was also spending meter on a combo that wasn't gonna kill. Like the drop missed out on Oki, but it, you know, that wasn't gonna kill. And I feel like in those situations, like you want the 50 bar to like do a messed up mix up. Like you get them to one hit and then you just mess them up. And
sure,
so
right, like
focusing on like the agency instead of the oops, there goes my combo. There.
Could definitely be a bit of a rough situation there. 236A ends up connecting here. Gets the 5Bs, a couple of those staggers in the situation there. Not gonna end up being
that stance charge to just escape with the wind there. Blood able to get out.
Alright. Throwing out a couple of those Lobelias there, and yeah. It's been the pace of neutral is very difficult for Fuzz to deal with in this situation, because he has to stand still, like, on the ground, or he has to be grounded in order to get the stocks again after spending them for movement. But that still gives Rachel so much time to, like, send out a lot of Lobelias out there, and then make it that much rougher. Nice burst bait here!
What a burst.
That is such a big call-out in this situation there. Alright. This is looking very good here in this situation. Gonna get a couple of those hits here. Retention's gonna lead to
keep it
death.
simple, yes. No drops there.
We're looking good. We're looking good.
Fuzzama with a lot of games needed to win. Has to run it back quite a bit.
Alright. Getting clipped for trying to chain in that situation there.
Check it out here. Blood wants to activate these. Alright, bats are out. Nice little command grab here for Fuzz. He's going to take it with the corner with the Hungry Quails.
Yeah, chair is going to end up working out very successfully in this situation here. Caught by the Lobelia. That's kind of the common sequence there from Rachel, right? You'll see George to cover the ground, then the Lobelia to cover the jump out attempt in that situation, working out beautifully for Bloodbro. However, still letting Fuzz roll out of the corner so frequently at this point.
But anti-air Hungry Quails, but he's gonna miss the combo, catch the roll, and still, oh my gosh!
Not quite there in that situation. This isn't going to kill, but this is going to be pretty good for Fuzz here. Oh my god.
Into the... Oh.
Purple throwing,
not have killed off
hit
of
it. Nasty work indeed. This burst is not ideal in this situation, given just how good the neutral is for Rachel in this situation here. They're going to get caught by the bat in this situation. Now, Fuzzama is down a burst against Rachel Alucard here at set point for Bloodbro.
Yes, Fuzzama might have gotten good content for a combo reel, but the win is what really matters here, and Bloodbro is getting started with this offense. No burst available for Fuzz. George is set.
Yeah, I feel like it's just those combo drops that are truly being like damning for Fuzzama in this situation. They've got to find a way out of the corner. They get caught by the true string low here in this situation. All it takes is one more hit for Bloodbro to finish the job here. Tried to finish it right there with that confirm, but the win 6A won't get it done. Regardless of that fact, Bloodbro takes it, 3-0ing Fuzzama in losers finals to punch their ticket into grands.
And with the perfect to send you off as well. Bloodbro4life, very dominant this set.
Yeah.
Fuzzama kind of finding like some chances there at the end, but that story was just Bloodbro4life taking it home. And man, that I'm hoping that Blood keeps that level of offense when it comes to the Arakune matchup here in Grand Finals. I felt like Blood was completely on it with the offense there at the end.
Yeah, I think realistically, the only issue there was just the rolls in the corner. Like, I think the major issue there that was still present, despite the win, were the rolls, I should rephrase. Because there were so many situations in which Bloodbro could have just sealed the deal much faster, but because Fuzzama got to roll out in a lot of situations, they ended up giving Fuzzama so many more chances. And dealing with Fuzzama with low health and an overdrive is a very, very risky bet to make. Or not a risky bet to make, but it's a dicey situation to be. That being said, leaving an Arakune and Spooky with OD and low health is also very, very dangerous.
Yes.
Now, this is going to be a repeat of our winners final set here, where it was rather dicey in a lot of situations, but Spooky took it 3-1 against Bloodbro here. And now Bloodbro is faced with the prospect of going at it with potentially 2 sets to take it over Spooky in this situation. We will see if Spooky wins and gets enough money to truly buy Street Fighter 6. And you can help push that along by popping in a few codes to the Matcherino here as we get into Grand Finals for BostonBlueBeat Online.
Don't wanna, not just codes, we got the big ballers coming in tonight. So thank you everyone who contributed.
Seriously, yes.
It's assisting these Arakune players finding a new game to migrate to. Ooh, that's the real reason people are donating. Get them on a different game. Quick burst there.
Speaker's been playing this game for years. He might play as a 6, but he's still gonna end up coming home to BlazBlue. That being said, Jesus Christ, what a situation we got here in neutral.
Well, at least the curse is almost over. There we go. No.
However, a few extra bugs left.
Yes.
New combo here, the quadruple? Yeah, quadruple overhead there is gonna get done for Spooky here. All it'll take is just an extra super on top of it, and oh, 2 supers? Nope, just one.
Yeah, even with the momentum, the win over Fuzz. Blood already on the back foot here. This is a good start. And with no overdrive or burst available for Spooky, you can get some good offense here. Blocking it out. That's the excellent thing about being able to run offense as Rachel is that your opponent is guessing at a certain the instant overhead, instant, can't react to it, so there is a level where you just have to stand up against this character sometimes.
Dare I say, it's not one moment, it's typically many, in one sequence in fact, or multiple sequences, depending on how much you want to run your OP here. Jesus Christ, speaking of many instances, Spooky really making use of that OD. And
burst
it's over on the curse.
Burst
when you're in curse is a rough situation, but it's literally a guess for game situation, so I cannot blame Bloodbro that heavily.
Yeah. Gotta spend it at some point. I do. I'm a big endorser of somebody tries to bait your burst and you don't do it, and now you have overdrive at low health, and it's like, ooh, messed up. Yeah. But yes. Can't fault a blocked burst at that kind of situation because it's do or die. You're not going to use it for anything after the game's over.
The wheel of fate is turning.
Now we're going into at least game 2. Perhaps will be a fresh start for both players here in this situation. Let's see what they got. Right now, a couple of neutral interactions, not leading to too much, actually. Spooky just kind of trying to weave around a lot of the projectiles, but they managed to get the hit here in this situation, but a big drop!
Yeah, these matchups feel kind of night and day, where it felt like Rachel was showing like the weaknesses in Hazama's movement, whereas Arakune's limited movement looks a lot better here. These teleports are so good at navigating the projectiles.
It's I will say part of it may be experience. The other thing is that like Arakune's worst like situation movement wise is I thought that was a Spooky air throw. Jesus. Nice drop from Bloodbro in this situation. I like the win 3C. They're gonna pop. They're gonna go for the special cancel, the frame trap that was gonna force the EA out of Spooky. But I don't think they were expecting the lightning there.
Yeah.
This is gonna lead to near death situation. Stark on wake up.
Kude with any amount of health is always a threat. Burst out.
Bursting while in curse, I mean, I suppose you still got a lot of wind to use, and if you get a little hit like that, it'll get it done, but that still could have been so dangerous. If Spooky evaded all of that, Bloodbro was going to get caught out with no wind in the corner. And that is perhaps speaks for itself as being a very rough situation.
Oh, not able to pick that up quickly enough.
Gets away from the chair here. Needs to get any like little thing on block to at least build up the curse meter, but finds no such luck. That's actually really rough for Spooky. That OD didn't end up amounting to very much. Well, now you're dealing with Rachel set play.
Ooh. Once again, the roll out looking like a pretty good option against Bloodbro. Still winning the after situation.
That was such a smart bait. Oh my god. Spooky, you are a devious son of a gun. Alright. But will you be able to kill here? OD is available for Spooky if he wants to lengthen the OD
locked
first
out.
timer.
Doesn't matter that you're 8 out of 10.
Oh my god, you're dead. This is just double super. Just double super. Just double super. Oh my god, look at that.
Didn't even...
Look, dude. That OD super is really good. That was a very smart bait from Spooky as well. So, Bloodbro thought that Spooky was going for the hit grab, where he like does the spider thing. So Arukune oftentimes can't fake it out by just walking forward instead. Nice air throw. That's going to be Curse this time. No, well, at least the drop happened after Curse. Bloodbro trying to do a lot while in the air, but those like bugs can still catch out Rachel here.
Still have to be very conscious to where you're winding to when those bugs are out, because they can cover so much space, and especially in the air where Rachel wants to hang out.
Oh my god, baited out the CA, but too high to actually get a punish for it. Good block on the wind 3C, gets caught by the throw, not any wind to confirm off of it, however.
Backing away, low wind here, has the 50 bar to get some back.
Spending the wind to push the projectiles a little closer. RCs, but I don't know if they crossed themselves up in that situation. They did. That's messed up. Because Spooky did RC there and they weren't in hit stun for a long, or block stun for a long period of time, they went for the shark, crossed themselves up, and then got hit by George. They had to RC and block in the other direction. That is very unfortunate. That's all I can say.
Anime, baby. You gotta earn your cross-up protection.
Dude, the funny thing is that this game does have like a pretty solid cross-up protection, but it's when you're in block stun and in hit stun. So because Spooky like hadn't gotten hit at all in those situations, they crossed themselves up for it. That is rough.
Alright, so the winner side set was 3-1 in favor of Spooky, and Bloodbro has put one on the board. So we're gonna see if Spooky's able to run it back just like before, popping overdrive here.
It's the backdash in this situation, and one of the weirder cases that we've seen. I love that setup. That is so good. Bloodbro's been popping barrier quite a bit, and being able to use CT there to just utterly destroy the barrier gauge is a very smart choice here. That's going to make Guard Crush Bug so prominent, especially when Curse is nearly built up. Danger state for Rachel in this situation now. That's an extra 20% damage here, and Guard Crush Bug will get it done. Yeah. Just look at this now. And that's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. You either get air unblockable in the situation afterwards, or you stay on the ground and just wait for Guard Crush Bug to just send you into the next round.
Those are the kind of forks you love to see. Spooky showing that experience with the game and that mastery of Arukune.
Woo!
Nice
Chair comes out from Bloodbro. They've been very literal with it, and I think it's been pretty potent in order to get Spooky off of them. Chair connects, George does not hit, but that does not matter, a combo is still had.
Alright, well here we go. Bloodbro4life won Street Fighter 6 now. Oh, but...
Okay, because they popped the bug, they have to wait till all the bugs clear in order to build up the curse gauge again, but just doing a little too much there and ends up getting caught by Rachel. While the active flow is nice to build up a little bit of gauge, this round is all but over here. Or not. Okay.
No.
This could lead to something, but most likely this is just Rachel getting a quick Lobelli and sealing the deal here.
Yes. Oh, but the mobility's so good.
Oh my god. Please rob him.
Never. Never leave this character alive.
Please rob them. 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 Please.
Oh my god.
Indeed.
Didn't even give a burst point.
By God, if you want to see a robbery, a federal offense, in fact, because that was certainly grand theft, you just saw it right there, friends. Oh, wow, that was so funny.
Never let this character live.
Never let either character live. That is so funny. Oh my god.
I have to major kudos to Spooky there. That mobility, when like you couldn't even trade, just any straight hit was death. Spooky played that so well. Just kind of sliding along. Beautiful for an Aracuna.
Alright. Air throw ends up connecting here. Catching out Bloodbro here. They're opting not to burst in this situation here. Maybe looking for a burst bait from Spooky. Either way, it means that they're stuck in curse in the corner now.
Believed in the blocks?
And Spooky finally making a couple of those adjustments in terms of the chair coming out from Bloodbro there. I like the bait in those situations. Spider into the curse super. Gonna work out very successfully for him now. Stuck that curse, doesn't matter if you're full screen, can still get important little combos in these situations, but the curse gauge is going down quite a bit, and Bloodbro is kind of skating by with not a lot of damage on him.
Wind is up. Bloodbro has got to turn the jets up. Here we go.
This is going to be relatively difficult to pilot if they don't get their hits in early. Tempest Dahlia comes out once again in this situation. Special cancel there. Those baits where Rachel dashes in, IADs away, and pops lightning is super powerful, and it's very good at just baiting out a lot of responses from opponents here. The dash out in that situation on the drop there, so good from Spooky. Ends up putting them at set and tournament point.
Man, Street Fighter 6 is on the line here. Bloodbro4life. I'd say very good chance here. I'm not for this round, which also would not speak well for the set, but was playing pretty well regardless. And
if we had sports stats, the percentage chance of them winning went down dramatically the moment A, they bursted, and the moment B, they got cursed. However, oh my goodness.
Oh, but not
you know what? I have to commentate the rest of this, but Jesus Christ, Spooky, you're making it really difficult
Your Honor,
to play by.
Take this man to Street Fighter 6. Oh, counter assault.
Wait a minute.
We gotta hope.
Just wait. We can't call it out yet. We just saw that last round of robbery from Spooky.
Oh
my goodness. Please.
She can rob too. The glass ceiling is gone.
There's no. It's cops and robbers, but by God, there's no cops. Everybody's robbing.
Only Rob.
Oh my goodness. Please, please, please let me see a double robbery here. Please, please, please. You try to get a little crazy with the chair. Hold on.
But Arakune's moving. That does not bode well for Rachel. She's got it.
Oh my God, Spooky, you really did go for the burst. Are you trying to seal the deal in terms of the robbery situation here? No. Spooky finally gets it with the J3D in order to seal away their bracket run with a win. They have indeed gotten their Street Fighter 6 money. A fantastic set from them.
And an excellent win. Showing it off. Man, and denying it. I can rob, but you can't.
Yes.
Good feeling. It's good to be on top.
Yeah, I will say that was certainly a lot of ups and downs in those last three sets.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Spooky ends up getting it done. Boston does indeed win. BostonBlueBeat. Sensational. Okay. I'm going to run through the stuff we got to talk about. I'm going to try to speed run it. This feels like it's slowly becoming a tradition, so please bear with me while I wear out my voice. Beach episode is back. You can join us on Boston on July 15th for a weekend of games. Beach is a lot of fun. Don't forget, we got the weekly the day before, and we go to the beach on the day afterwards. We've got a ton of games, including Shark Drive, Exert Plus R, MBAC, CF, MBTL, TFH, SMS, and a ton more games. You can reg at start.gg/BostonBlueBeat. You can hit !beach as well in order to get a quick link there. We got to shout out our sponsors for the event as well, including Junk Food Arcades, which is sponsoring us for their third season of partnerships. They're known for their snack box micros, and we're going to be raffling off a couple of snack boxes as well, so be sure to pull up for there. Axis Games is also going to be sponsoring us as well. You know them well. They published BlazBlue, Guilty Gear, Under Night, and a ton of more series. They do a lot of jobs localizing and translating Japanese video games for the English-speaking world. They're going to be giving us $100 for both BlazBlue and Exert for Beach episode, and we got a local sponsorship with Fire Chicken. They're known locally in Alston. They're across the street from the venue of Beach episode. They're prominent with their Korean fried chicken sandwiches, and Korean corn dogs. They'll be supporting us with Haya Chicken gift cards for participating entrants, and you can be sure to catch us at our online weeklies both today on these days on Mondays for CF and tomorrow, and weeklies in general for Plus R, 8 p.m. for both of them Eastern time.
Thank you for taking us home, Towedo. I've been Deadward. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, take it easy, y'all. Thanks for stopping by.